Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Asylum podcast, episode 67, now with audio. Thank you all again for joining us. And as you can see today, we are me, myself, and Mr. Little Bit of Madness. Welcome.
Yes. Hello. Thank you. Hello. Yes. It's nice to be back doing just the podcast. We'll see if my camera and my audio is in sync. I hope it is. Let me know if I'm massively out.
It now looks like it's not, but it was when we were doing this. So if it's not, we can try Skype audio. But out of sync.
Out of sync. Okay, let's try this then. Hang on. Just do Discord out.
Let's mute yourself on Discord. Am I out of sync, or is it just madness?
Hello.
Where is that? When I was adding you to the scene, it was fine though. You saw that. It's like...
We don't know why. We're struggling to understand why we're getting this syncing issue.
I don't know, actually. Let me check.
Because everything seems fine until we go live, it seems. And it's driving us crazy. Easy remove from scene. Kappa!
I could try removing the NDI and re-adding it, but... Hang on, let me try this low experimental. Try talking now.
Hello?
That's better. So it's an experimental thing on NDI. It says low delay, so I've put that on. It says it's experimental, but as long as it doesn't crash, we're all golden.
Do I need to do it on my end as well?
Hopefully not. It looks in sync now.
Okay, as long as it's close.
That's
the most important thing. Does it look okay? Is it acceptable? As long as this is close, because we've had it off sync so much. Because I can always put the microphone like right here, so no one can tell. So no one will know anything. If I put the microphone right across my mouth, you will not know the difference. How's everyone doing? Hi, Toby. How you doing? Angel, how you doing? It's nice to see you guys. I've been away for a couple of weeks. It feels streaming. I just had my ass handed to me by my boss this evening, which was fun. So don't expect me back again streaming anytime soon because I got a lot of work to do. Damn. Yeah.
You could try going back to Discord audio if you want.
Oh, really? Okay. Let's try Discord. Okay.
Just because it sounds a bit better than the Skype for some reason. First of all, as you can tell, It's just Madness and myself.
Yes.
Bok has, unfortunately, decided he's going to take a step back and he's going to concentrate a little bit more on his own stream. And so he's still part of the Asylum team. So if you're not following him, make sure you go and give him a follow. But he won't be doing the podcasts for the near future. He's still going to come on as a guest and stuff when he wants to or when we've got enough to talk about. Otherwise, he's going to carry on working on his stream and doing the things he wants to do as well, because it's all got to be about having fun, and so we've all got to be enjoying what we're doing at the end of the day. And on the same note, we also apologise, probably more so on YouTube because they've been missing more episodes, but we have been missing a few things, or we've been also experimenting with technology and trying to bring a better show to you because it can tell by the out of sync audio, and also just trying different formats and things. And it's taking us a little while to get to the quality in the thing that we want to do, which means obviously when we're doing it on Twitch, you guys, like last week we tried playing Star Citizen and it went, it looked good, but it didn't stream to you guys good. It was too laggy and we dropped frames and everything else. So obviously folks on YouTube missed that because we don't bother uploading it to the YouTube channel because it's just pointless. But otherwise, we are trying our best to try and push the boat out, make different things available for you to try and make it a little bit more entertaining. But it does also mean that sometimes we have to take a break and do tech troubleshooting, I suppose is the best way to say it, because we're having a lot of issues with technology. For me, it's like personally going back to school because I know absolutely nothing and I'm learning it all. And so yeah, it's great.
He says that. That's so like if you want to know what nothing is, like you come to my level, that's pretty much nothing. Okay, -1. That's where I'm at. That's my level when it comes to technology. So yeah, now for me personally. We've been trying really hard to try and do some really cool stuff, and we are getting there. Like with the layouts and the stuff that we were doing for the After Hours show is getting there, but it's between Miz and myself, we both have real jobs, we have real lives, so it is tough sometimes to do it. And like we said the other day, it's like Mondays is we've got this block of time now after years of doing it that we know with our other halves. Anyone who's in a relationship will appreciate this. Sometimes it's hard. Working these blocks of time. So we've managed to work at this time. So so if we don't do podcasts or shows on a Monday night, we'll be putting up adverts and stuff on Twitter, to say that there's a reason. We're trying to work through these problems. I think we tested some stuff the other day, which I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we tested a few things the other day which looked really promising. Currently, we're being limited by I think 2 things. I think we've kind of got this down to 2 things, okay, which is really funny. So, because we like to share. So the first thing is, Miz lives in the middle of the sticks, so his internet isn't the greatest. That's the first limiter. That's just the way it is, but that's the limiter. My internet now is really good, but the limiter on my end is my PC is really old. And I was meant to get a new one this year, and if anyone's been following me on Twitter and follows my channel, you'll know that I had to drop £1,500 this year on my teeth because I spent 3 years not going to the dentist, and I reaped the rewards of having to have a lot of dental work and repairs done to my teeth this year, which blew my budget gone. It's gone. So the PC is not going to happen for me for a while. Now we test it. There's a possibility of a solution. We're going to test that out maybe after the show tonight if I can get hold of borrowing the wife's laptop. Maybe that could be the fix for mine because my internet's good, but my PC is shit. That's the problem. So I can't run NDI to the level we need. And once we did some testing the other day, and it kind of seemed to run good. Like we actually got some stuff running good with some solutions. So fingers crossed. Watch this space. After Hours will be back with some really sweet content. Hopefully next week. Next week we'll have After Hours working, and we'll be able to do some fun stuff on the show. Fingers crossed. So I'm excited about that. It's just we want to be honest and clear with you guys. You guys support us and have helped us with gear and all the rest of it, so you can understand. We want to do this to the best quality that we possibly can. Like Miz said, and it's driving us just as crazy as it's probably driving you guys crazy.
Oh, trust us.
But anyway,
it's probably driving us more crazy than it is you. But we do honestly appreciate your support and sticking with us and still turning up. So, yeah. Even when we know it's a bit of a shit show at times, it is painful for us watching it back, especially when we look at it back and we just go. And then we see bits though. What's annoying is I think we both recognized the other week when we saw like stills and moments of it. We were like, "This is really cool." You know what I mean? And we see people's comments saying, "Oh, this is cool," and then after 3 seconds they go, "Oh, this is shit," because it's so badly out of sync. And we're like, "Oh, we're so close. So close. We'll get there so far."
Anyway, that's the state of what we're up to now. Yep. So we're it's just myself and Miz for the time being. I'm sure we'll have more guests. We'll bring guests on like we did before and stuff, and kind of play through things and stuff. It is podcast is tough. People don't realize. It is tough. The time zones can be very demanding sometimes, and consistency and Star Citizen. Anyone knows anything about Star Citizen? It is tough. It's tough.
Give us more info.
Which is good because this week they gave us some stuff. It was actually quite I enjoyed Inside Star Citizen. The Star Citizen Live was also good if you're interested in art and creation and stuff, which is kind of I am interested in. So yeah. It was a good week for Star Citizen.
It was pretty good.
The monthly report was out.
And as Bunsen just put in chat, exclamation mark, question mark, and you can bring up the form to ask us a question. Yeah. So do go and fill that in, or just ask us questions in chat. If we catch them there, then we'll answer them. Otherwise, exclamation mark, question mark, and fill that in, and we'll definitely get to those ones by the end. So anything you want to discuss or ask us, please do so. It gives us something else to talk about.
Yes. Yes. Anything you guys want to talk about? That's kind of the thing. Is like I haven't been able to do as much Star Citizen this week as I would like. Been heavy busy with work, so I just haven't really been able to. But I've been watching a lot of streams. I do a lot of stream watching, catch up on bugs. I watched a new streamer today. Oh, not today. The other day. Brand new to Star Citizen in terms of like playing, but he was an all backer. He backed in 2004. I see a lot of this. Backed in 2014. And now has come back to the game, reinstalled it, started playing it. And the optimism sometimes is very infectious because you kind of, there's that, oh, wow, look at the constellation, it's amazing. Like they get in the constellation and they're wowed so heavily and they're like, they do this and they do that. But very quickly you see, that you're very tolerant of the quantum time. You're very tolerant of the bugs and like trying to figure out, like, it was interesting watching this person they could get the mobiGlas to work and then they were like, and then they found a solution for it, which taught me something which I didn't know. So probably people in chat already know this one, but like if you pick up a box and then you go and sit down in your seat and your mobiGlas, you progress your mobiGlas, but you can't see it, it's like blurry in front of you. What's happened is the mobiGlas has got jammed in the box. So when you picked up the box, the hands and stuff have adjusted where your mobiGlas is. So you have to go pick up the box again. You pick up the box again, and then you do your mobiGlas. Then you close your mobiGlas, you put the box down, and your mobiGlas is fixed.
I think I saw something like that happen to Bok today because he had his gun out. And then when he went to his mobiGlas, it was all wonky. So he had to get his gun back out, holster it, and then look, and it seemed to be fine. So yeah.
These workarounds that we find in the game, that's the thing that I always find interesting is it's like as you as someone, if you haven't played the game as much in a patch, these little bits you start to notice that you're not necessarily aware of them as much because you're not playing it as much. If you don't play Star Citizen for a good patch or two, it's almost like a completely brand new game. If you don't play Star Citizen for just a couple of weeks, sometimes even between little patches and little things, or just, you notice that you don't pick up on those subtle game fixes, and then I talk to other people who are, diehards, and it's like, and they know instantly how to fix this and how to fix that, and it's kind of like, I used to be like that, I used to be able to know all the intricate ways of fixing this and fixing that, but at the moment, because I'm not playing as much, I'm not as down with all those little workarounds, should we say?
I guess it's like that with like a lot of games that you play, isn't it? If you're playing, especially early access, if you enjoy in the game and you play it long enough, you kind of find ways around the bugs. It's like there's bugs everywhere, but you end up finding, this is how we get around this one, or this is how we hack into this thing, or my ship doors aren't opening, but we can get somebody else to open it for you, or something. I don't know, stuff like that.
I just saw Angel's like, can we talk about aim assist, the new flight model, hover mode? I just want to talk about those topics. I don't want to talk about those topics anymore. I think every podcast I've watched over the last, it's like literally, I'm done. We're done. We're finished.
We've talked those to death. And there's nothing changed about them either, so there's not really anything to discuss.
It's not worth it. Unless someone desperately wants to ask a question, be like, I know, and it's in a different way, that would be the only time I'd talk about it. If I could think of a new way of approaching it in a different way, no.
Maybe if we stood on our heads and talked about it, it'd be a new way.
Maybe. Maybe we put masks on and pretend to be somebody else. That would be the only way. So,
Star Citizen this
shall
week.
Let's go. So we have had a few things.
Yes. So, in Star Citizen was mostly about clothing. Would you say there was some other bits in there as well?
No, there was lots in there. There wasn't.
That's quite.
There was. I mean, the clothing stuff was pretty cool. If you want to bring it up, I guess we could kind of go. I got pretty excited by some of this.
Yeah, I think there's some good concepts there. I mean, this is something that Jay Lee talked about a while back, saying that they actually have quite a lot of concept art. Like he churns out like different things, and I suppose, and you would understand this from you doing your sneakers and things, because you do lots of designs and it's like loads go on the bin pile, loads are just rough ideas, and you create loads.
Loads have just hit the bin.
Let's not talk about the bin pile right now.
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that. I mean, just literally everything, by the way, chat. Just I'd say 90% of what I designed, which is quite a lot, just hit the bin pile. So this is normal. This is very normal. A lot of stuff hits the bin pile.
So this is apparently the human concept. So this is what humans look like, in case you didn't realize.
So this is 1940s styling for me. This is like, feels like a 1940s like kind of
Kind of like a bit retro.
You know, it's got the Memphis Belle girl. You know, she looks like she could probably have a little hat on or whatever, and she could be selling you some cigarettes or something, or she's kind of like just, you know, vice / going to be potentially working on the RAF air raid, or whatever the American equivalent is of the kind of the communication tower or whatever. It's got that military, you know, it's sexy. I mean, I think it's sexy. I think it looks nice.
It's funny because they said, like, well, at least Lee was saying that he was looking at, like, we'll get back to it, but like lots of different designs and using that as influence and trying a futuristic. But yeah, I get the same feeling. This is less of a futuristic vibe. I suppose it's kind of both, like some retro with a bit of futuristic twists to it, maybe. And you can see that with the bartender that we'll show in a minute. But so the first things they were kind of showing off was basically, at the moment, we've currently obviously got lots of kiosk vendors selling all different things, but they all look very much the same. They're all wearing just a t-shirt and pants or trousers, depending on where you're from and what you want to call them. But the proper name is trousers, and that's what they're wearing. And so
100% trousers.
So they're trying to like individualize them so they look a little bit different. So this was one of the, and it looks like she's got a burger logo or something on. So that was
it does. It's like a kind of a military. That's what I'm saying. It reminds me. It feels like a kind of, she could be 1940s selling me a burger, or she could be, you know, running an air raid, something or other. I don't know, in the military. She's kind of, it's got that vibe about it. Yeah, this one was interesting. The guy, like, I see a lot of guys that look like this when they go on a night out in London. I'm not lying, seriously. Like, that's quite a common look in London. for kind of, you know, it's a bartender. The guy said like a bartender, and I was like, yeah, I've seen guys dressed like that.
It kind of is, out. But it's like if you watched what's that recent sci-fi thing where the Altered Carbon, when they went into like again like the old style hotel and stuff, it kind of reminded me a little bit like that. And I suppose this is something that I discussed with you recently in terms of you designing all your shoes, and it's like, well, how do you do, you know, you basically, it's a shoe, you know, you got the shape and you're doing the thing over and over and over again. And I suppose it's like this, it's how do you make him look like a barman but also bring in some sort of futuristic kind of view to it so it looks a little bit different.
I think it's in the details. Like, it's in the little trims. It's the cut. It's
like the style on the actual waistcoat part, the shape of it, and the little extra decal on the trousers and things.
The arm, I mean, the way that he's got the arm thing, like, so for example, you know, that look with the arm thing, because like I'm getting like a Westworld kind of barman from like a kind of like a Western / thing from kind of the upper body. Like, so he could be, you know, he changed his hat to like a poker hat or whatever. He could easily be like a kind of dealing cards as well, from like the top half a little bit, with the kind of the way they've done the arm. But the way they've done, like, JD's added like the little piece, this little kind of future cap on the side, which could be off of like you know, another piece of armor or something, you know, so just thrown in that little bit of futuristic piece there, and the way he's kind of like, again, the little touches on the suspender, it's not a suspender, or is it a suspender? It could be like a modern,
suspenders,
like kind of modern futuristic kind of suspender on the trousers. And then it's those little kind of shiny reflective, more futuristic materials. So you take the styling again. I'm doing this in my footwear at the moment. It's like, how do you take kind of like, my boss throws an old shoe at me and he's like, oh, I want you to do a Van shoe, and you're just like, why? We don't want it. Why do I want to do a Van shoe? He's like, I like the styling of the Van shoe. I'm like, yeah, but it's
they're making this and selling it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, exactly that. They're selling loads of them, but why do you want to? Oh, we're Southern California. You know, we want to do this vibe, blah blah blah. And they kind of go, okay, how do we make this different? So you kind of go, do we just go with the Vansy upper and then we do a completely, sporty outsole? And I kind of like, well, Vans has done that because they did it recently and it looked shit, it didn't work. So it's like, well, how do I make that better? Or how do I make the upper, like modern materials? I think that's what he's doing here. It's kind of like we do a little bit of old school styling and then we throw in modern materials and textural details and then throw in a little funky bit here and there, like on the trousers and stuff, and boom, you've got something that looks modern and you can identify with it and you understand what that role's for, which is cool. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, because also I think if you look at, say, like bartenders and things through the ages, they are very much white shirt, trousers, and quite stable. Like there's nothing much that changes, even if you go back in time to the future. And again, like you said, I suppose it's the little flourishes, the little touches that are what makes them look different. And here, I think it's like the use of the angles a lot, making it kind of angular and that sort of thing, and then the different reflectiveness shapes, which you wouldn't usually see. So yeah, and
it's nice. Anyway, as a bartender, it's a bartender. I know the thing is a lot of people are super like amped for the whole kind of bartender thing. I know the Astro Pub, obviously, his whole thing is pub based. So for him, this is like, gold. It's like gold, baby. It's just so, he must be like sat there just sweating excitedly.
I'm sure it's
so excited.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something he's probably requested several times. I mean, it is just bartender, but I suppose it's not just that's what this is, but we're talking about what making the style that they're making to show off as the future stuff, So,
yeah, and then, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to role play a bartender, they give you little style cues, but who's to say you can't steal a little bit from another piece of armor or steal a little piece from another place, or you can make your own bartender, make your own modern bartender.
Yeah. And that was something I was actually going to talk about a little bit in a time when we talk about the bounty hunter stuff, because obviously it's labeled as bounty hunter, but we'll go back to that because that's an interesting point.
Yeah. Okay. This stuff.
So yeah, again, the next one we have is the waiters. Again, it's like it's very difficult to futurize something when it's got like I just don't know. It's a piece of clothing that I suppose they said it on the Star Citizen Live. It's like most things. It's a form. It's going to fit your body. It's going to be trousers and things like that, which are a standard thing, or just like your shoes. And then it's like, what do you do to futurize it? And I suppose with this again, you can see the angles that they've used, the sort of trendy little waiter out apron. But I don't know.
To me, like I was like, he's literally looked like he had gone straight into the Star Trek Voyager, or Star Trek Discovery or whatever it was, like one of the Star Treks. Sorry, I'm just failing terribly. It's Next Generation, and just taking the Next Generation
just
and
all
gone,
of the Star Treks.
Look at the chef, all the Star Treks, and just gone in and gone right. What does the chef look like in that universe, and then start from there? Because that sometimes is when you're trying to create stuff, especially as a designer. I'm sure the designers out there, you just want to have that first point of reference just in your head, just to kind of get a styling going, and then bang, you're off. Like this was interesting. This was really interesting because, like, the chef for me, I was kind of like when I saw this. Yeah, again, it was like it was really interesting because like it was almost like Again, it felt 50s, and like with the hat and everything, it felt like it was like a bit of a fast food chef. Do you know what I mean? Like but I know it's not, but it just felt initially, although it could be like a truck, what you call a truck selling place kind of thing. Or, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I don't dislike it.
I actually really like the outfit. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to be wandering around as a chef, but again, I think some of these are really hard to change in a style and still recognize what it is. And I think if you did see that, to me, it does say chef. It could probably say something else as well, but no, I think I like it. I think it's good. I suppose a lot of this. I don't know if this is a certain area, whether this is like micro text version of all these things, or this is just a general chef, futuristic looking chef. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. The hat is kind of like a stewardess hat, but
I think almost in a way it's like you kind of design. So, like you said, in terms of having lots of designs, I don't believe this is probably the only chef design he's got.
No,
I reckon he's probably got about 20 on a page. It's probably
Yeah.
20 on the page of different types of chefs. And at the end of the day, you know, if you go down to the local chef market, you go down to the local food market, food stall, depending on what type of food is being served, will have a different type of look and feel. So, you know, you go to Chinatown, for example, you know, if this was Chinatown, like the styling and stuff like that, you know, I'm thinking of Blade Runner. The way I always run into my head, I go futuristic, kind of like Blade Runner, you know, how they do the food. When you go to the stall and you kind of have all the kind of the stalls up there and they're selling kind of, he sits there and he gets his Chinese food noodles and stuff, and he gets that from the local thing. A bit like Benny's, you know, they got that in here, haven't they? Big Benny's. It's not Benny's. Benny, it's Big Benny's, isn't it? The food brand.
Oh, there's always epic Zach having to ruin the flow of the show.
Oh my god! To be fair, I'm gonna have to do a bit of the old. We'll have to use that face app. That takes the face app to a whole ugly level. Just got vote going on right there. Cheers, buddy. Thanks, Zach.
Wow.
But yeah, no, like, I mean, the great thing with the chef thing is you will be able to run around and just be the chef, and you can get your sword out and you'll be able to kill everybody and reenact the great movie with Steven Seagal in Under Siege.
It's like kind of Kill Bill vibe to it as well. Just I suppose maybe they kind of designed it like that, so you got that flow, so that you look like you could just jump into combat as well with that. You start taking the chef cleaver out and start cutting people up. It's like, you know, why not?
Yeah, that's pretty scary stuff, really. That's pretty scary stuff.
I mean, the other thing Jaylee also said is about making the clothes a bit gender neutral as well. So you can easily see this working on like a male chef as much as it does a female chef, I think. So,
well, a lot of clothes in the workplace are generally neutral for that reason.
Yeah.
I know women complain heavily about that, but within the workplace, because, you know, it must be quite frustrating sometimes having to wear clothes which aren't generally fitted very well, or, you know, designed for, you know, a woman's shape and women's form, you know. Because when we say unisex, often, especially in the industry, it's male. The girls just have to, you know, they just get sized down for girls ultimately.
Well, yeah, because it's very hard for us to fit into tight hip designs. It's hard being unisex with.
It's a little tricky. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but I think I read somewhere, like in the military, I think they finally, after, I don't know when it was as well, but they actually started designing specific items of clothing as well. It was like anything, it was unisex and stuff. Because it's dangerous sometimes, especially for a chef, having things kind of flying around, or you got to tie everything back and, you know, all that stuff. Anyway, this gets to the good stuff, the bounty hunter stuff. Ooh, yeah, Mandalorian right there.
So they said they were trying to pull it away from the sort of shipjacker style armor, and bring it to about. I mean, so this is some concept of the bounty hunter. Let me just. So that was this one. I think there was this. This was the second. Actually, was that bounty? Oh yeah, bounty hunter concept number 3. So we have these, and then we have. I think there was one more design. Yeah, this one. So they were like 3, I think, basic different types of bounty hunter designs that they were looking at. I don't know if they were meant to be like light, medium, and heavy, possibly. This definitely looks more light. Yeah, maybe it was. This was, I would say, looks more like the medium style. And then the first one we saw was probably the heavy style, I think. The third one, the light one, definitely gave me sort of like a RoboCop / Judge Dredd style thought to it, I think. But
I'm just do you think that's heavy? Do you think that's heavy? That looks pretty heavy, that armor.
That's what I mean. I think this one's heavy. I don't know if it is, but that to me looks like there's 3 different types. This one to me looks like heavy, because when you're wearing the heavy armor on the other UEE suits, they're very bulky. Like even the gloves you see are like thick, chunky gloves and stuff. and this is what this reminds me of. Lots of utility pockets and things you can see on it as well. So I don't know if, because they're saying that they're integrating the whole personal item storage.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if those are all going to have like a part to play. So the more of those pockets that you have, the more things you're going to be able to actually carry.
I think what was interesting about this one is just like they talked about how they don't want it to be too shipjackery. You know what I mean? But then the way I look at it this way is if you are a shipjacker type of player or you're that type of person, you will probably have some of this armor, because at the end of the day, if a bounty hunter is kind of got like a code of clothing or whatever, or this kind of sort of style guide or whatever, it seems slightly weird, because then you'll be able to point them out. You'll be like, oh, look, there's a bounty hunter after me. I can see him a mile away. He's wearing all the bounty armor gear. But then at the same time, it's like if you are I'm just thinking lore wise and role playing wise, you know, if you are a good shipjacker and you avoid being bounty hunted all the time, or you're a good person, mercenary, or public enemy, you're gonna be kill these guys, and then you're probably going to keep trophies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way I look at it. So I hope they make the bounty hunter armor actually quite tough to get, and you get really good rewards for doing good missions. If you can complete really high profiles, you get pieces of armor that are really sweet and really good to get hold of. And then it'll be kind of cool as well if you kill a bounty hunter that's chasing you, you get his gear as well. So it's like 2 ways you can gain kind of cool pieces of gear. That would be kind of cool in my head.
Yeah, so this was something you touched on earlier, and that's what I was going to talk about. So there's basically the fact that these are labeled as bounty hunter armor. Now, obviously, as a player, you can wear what the hell you like. You don't have to go around in I presume you're not going to have to go around in bounty hunter armor to go and do some bounty hunting. So, I guessing when they label these things, it's more of what the NPC is going to be wearing, or is it? I mean, what do you think? Do you think that this is going to be like a sort of uniform for any of these AI bounty hunters? Are they going to kind of wear some sort of code and armor, or is it going to be?
Yeah, I think they will. I think the NPCs will have to wear what the more assets they have, the more they could potentially randomize them, obviously. But I think they'll uniform them up. You'll know a bounty hunter NPC because you'll get used to seeing them, because they'll have like a dress. It's not, unless CIG can really be clever with their algorithms and the way they mix it up. Otherwise, you could potentially get into like No Man's Sky, weird, like procedurally generated human like bounty hunters. And could you imagine, like, you'd be like, oh, there's someone's wearing a really weird kind of combination of armor and stuff. It could be quite funny to watch. That's I don't think they'll do that. So I think it will be uniform based driven. Yeah, for sure. It'd be kind of cool if it was a bit more procedural. But
I suppose there's 2 ways of looking at it, isn't it? There's like, if you can identify a bounty hunter, then you feel like, is that worse? Because you can kind of go, oh, I know there's a bounty hunter after me. I've just seen him, he's wearing this outfit. Or every time you see someone with a bounty hunter, you're going to think, oh, that's a bounty hunter that could be coming for me. So you feel like that could potentially ruin the game. But then I suppose under the same breath, if you're wanted and you're, say, shopping in an area, and you see it in films a lot as well, they look out the window and then they see bounty hunters walking down the street, and it's like, oh shit, that's coming from me, and it gives you an opportunity to run and flee and stuff like that. So I think I think you probably might get more gameplay by being able to see someone wearing that kind of outfit rather than a bounty hunter not being known to you. Now, like we said, as a player, you don't have to wear that sort of stuff. But as AI, I think, I agree. I think we'll probably see uniform wearing. So the same as we've got the law wearing uniforms, you'll see the bounty hunters wearing uniforms. I suppose the shipjackers are going to just be like a faction that are going to be wearing that style of armor as well. Yeah,
I think so, without doubt. I'm just because I wanted to talk about the heavy armor. I'm just going to talk about like heavy armor in terms of how it looks, but we'll talk about that after. I'll let you. We'll go through the next. Don't let me forget. Basically, is what I want to say.
Okay.
Don't go off this page. So when you finish, we'll go back to the first one with the heavy one because I just wanted to talk about heavy armor in general. Okay, so this one's another one. Yeah, this one was weird. Like this one felt like a kind of a Marvel character. The one before this one. So the one you're showing now, I thought this was cool. I like this one. It looked like it could be like a lizard underneath that. Like, you know, it had that kind of like it could be the lizard bounty hunter from Star Wars. You know, that stands next to Boba Fett. It had that kind of vibe. I liked this one. I thought this was very cool. I liked it a lot. I was like, oh, I like the sword and the knife as well in the top. That was really sweet. Where
Ready
you just
for
take the knife out.
Yeah, the kills, the sort of insta-kill things. So yeah, you can see this one's got maybe less of the utility pouches. Still got a few, but less of them. So I definitely think this is probably looking to be the more medium style. But yeah, I agree. I like it.
Thick thighs.
They do have really thick thighs.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to carry a lot of weight. You're gonna need good, strong thighs. You know, to carry all that weight.
Well, we've seen how quick your character gets out of condition, so.
I know, right? But no, I mean, from a styling perspective, I really liked it. I thought it would look really nice. This one I was like, ooh. I just was a bit weird with the knife being vertical like that, and like I would have thought the blade would have been along with the band. You know, like the way the band is. You'd have had it.
It's probably easier to grab down though than at that angle. It's weird. You want to pull down.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not military. People who are military.
You've not stabbed people before? Come on.
Generally, not as a rule. Generally, and there's moments where I have considered it. That's for sure. But no, as a rule, I generally don't. But I mean, if anyone's a military person in chat right now, like normally, like we learn at like scouts. This is as far back as I go with blade scouts. You know, you have the blade. You know, it's in your belt. It's in your belt, and it's got a little clip on it. You know, to keep it safe, so you don't accidentally fall out your thing and stab your foot.
These are bounty hunters, not scouts.
Yeah, I know it's not the same level. Okay, it's not the same level. All right.
Do you carry two twigs in your other pocket so that you can rub them together and make a fire?
It's not the same. I know it's not the same, but. You know, that's my only reference for blade handling, other than in the kitchen. Okay, not everyone's out there, you know, with a knife hacking at wood like Bear Grylls or anything.
That's what's missing on the chef's outfit. She should have a thing going across with a knife sticking out and stick it back in.
Focus. Hey, this is the Asylum. There's no such thing. But you're right. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. The chef one would have all the different knives. But that's anyway. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was just curious if that's the optimal position, but I'm judging what you reckon it is. So yeah,
I think so, because you can't just pull down and then your knife's in the. You got your knife held in the position you want.
How does it stay in without falling out and stabbing his foot or his leg when he starts running?
They've designed knives for quite a few times now, and holders that will hold your knife in without pulling it out. It clips in.
I'd be scared. I'd still be scared. I'd be scared. It's on that way. It's gonna. It's also in line with your penis. That's the worry. Like that could take your knob off on the way down. You know, you could just imagine. You know, you're going for a piss and you got a blade literally sitting above it.
I was just about to say, when exactly are you going to have your knob out? That's going to cut it off. But okay, when you're having a piss. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like, what kind of armor? What armor are you wearing when this blade falls out? It's like,
you know. They're not that's dangerous. So now I've seen that. That's a horror moment. That's a horror moment in hell right there. Jaylee, what are you thinking? It's a terrible idea to have a blade literally right above your knob. That's a terrible place for it.
You only get circumcised once, it's fine.
Right. Every man now watching is just gone across the legs, like, oh.
I'm taking my blade out before I take a piss. It'd be like safety adverts. You imagine it on the toilet screens as you go in. And, please remember to remove your blade before taking a piss.
Have you removed your blade? Or they have like a magnet strip across the side where you just take your blade off and put it on the wall. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on. That was, but it's nice. I think the design of that one is nice. I like that one. Yeah. This one,
this is definitely
Batman
RoboCop Judge Dredd.
Marvel.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. I just no. Judge Dreddy. Yeah, I get the little bit. I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah, feels Judge Dreddy. Yeah.
I got the sort of shoulder pads and yeah, and I think the sort of half headpiece thing Well, that's I don't know. I should have got some references for it, I think. But
A Judge Dredd. Let's see if I can grab a Judge Dredd picture. Someone grab a Judge Dredd picture from the two movies, because there's the new one which I prefer, Dredd, which I thought was amazing. Don't get me wrong, Sly's one was classically trash, but as an actually a good representation, I think, and pretty cool from the Dredd comic. The latest version was good. I wish they would have done another one, but it obviously wasn't successful enough. Dredd. We just need a Death Dread, man.
it's not great.
There he is. Yeah, I can kind of get the vibe. I just think it's. Do you know what? Honestly, it's because he's got the little mask. He's got the Batman mask over his. You know what I mean? It goes over the nose, whereas theirs is a visor. Do you know what I mean? I think it looks cooler with the visor. I think when you kind of got this weird, when you've got like the Cyclopsy mask type vibe going on, I think it just doesn't work for me. Whereas,
but it's the whole.
Like
I suppose like the kind of leather the kind of leather thing as well. Very similar. Or the designing of the leather armor and things is not that one.
Oh dear Lord, no.
That one. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's almost they're not trying to imitate Judge Dredd. I'm just saying it's got that vibe to it. But like you said, I suppose that nose bit is definitely kind of almost like Batman mask as well. Yeah,
puts me off. That's the bit. I think I like the how. I think if they'd just gone with the visor, I would have been cool with it. And then I don't mind the Dredd reference. I'd be like, okay, it's cool. It's dope. You could have. Honestly, I reckon I would change that whole front piece a little bit. I would put a cool visor on there. I would get rid of the Batman goggle, the Batman mask. I don't like that, and I would just have a sweet visor over the front. Maybe. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I quite like it. It's different. It's a bit different,
Yeah, it's definitely different. I get that 50s kind of Rocketeer vibe from this as well. You know what I mean? I got that kind of early cartoony. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like that one aspect which kind of throws it. And that's the end of the day. The face is such an important part of the design. That's the bit I don't like. But the armor itself, and I like the one-handed kind of holstery gun. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, we'll get some sweet-ass, really powerful guns, or like guns that can. If you're a bounty hunter, you're gonna need something to bring someone down, right? A bit like Rocket has that electric kind of thing in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is like a net that kind of tasers Quill. Quill, all right. Quain. Oh, forgot whatever his name is. Forgotten his name now.
It's quite funny because I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was Facebook or Twitter, where people saying, so I wish we had some older style looking stuff rather than all futuristic. And yet most of us are kind of going, well, this has got a very retro vibe to it. I think most of chat here, and we've said when we're looking at it, that it's actually quite retro looking with futuristic little tweaks. Yeah, there's a lot of people, but there's obviously some people that completely think the opposite and think that we're looking at more futuristic designs. But
I think with the trench coating and stuff to go through, I think that's a cool. Once they get all that flowing, the flowing kind of clothes and the end cloth and everything working. I mean, we've seen some of the stuff they've shown. Once they get all that working really well, then all those assets I think will be really nice to have. I mean, they've improved it. I mean, I know the cloth mechanic is definitely working a bit better on the capes and stuff. So I'm all for like trench coats and Matrix style, kind of like sweet ass trench coats looking really cool. Now this was my favorite. I'm no lie. This was my favorite.
This isn't Bounty Hunter though.
No, but this is my favorite of the designs because it got me super excited for weather systems, which I'll talk about later. But we can talk about it. There's two things I want to talk about actually about armor that lead into other topics. But this one, I loved this design.
One extra thing I really liked about this is it's more casual clothing, or at least it looks more casual clothing rather than armor. But they've got a helmet to go with it. So, because this is one of the things, obviously, we've got a problem at the moment is we've got either armor, which has got your helmet, or your casual clothes, which you can barely have anywhere to wear them. And that's kind of the problem we have where we don't get to use the casual stuff. This, to me, looked like they're thinking of how can we blend casual stuff and still give you the ability to wear it outside of a station or somewhere that hasn't got oxygen. So, I was really pleased to finally see something that's got a helmet and a mask to go with it. But I thought it was pretty cool.
You're gonna get you're gonna get totally face hugger fucked in that thing. I'm telling you, it's just it screams Alien. Like for me, when I saw this, I was like, it had so much of the Alien kind of really overheated design, which kind of. I think the stories, right? The guys on set, they were so hot. I think some of them fainted in the spacesuits and stuff. Like this just reminds me of that a little bit with all the kind of over padding, and it just got me super hyped.
And
up
in Star
for
Citizen, you can also faint. Just jump a couple of times, and you will also faint wearing this stuff.
I was going to say, like, do you think this will be classed as heavy armor because it looks beefy? You know what I mean?
I thought it was social clothing. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I felt like it was more like a social gear rather than actually armor. It was beefy, but I felt because you're meant to be on a winter, snowy climate.
Yeah.
I thought it was just clothing.
So the weight won't be heavy. It will just appear heavy, is what you're saying. It'll look padded and kind of like bulky, but you should be able to move like medium armor. Right? You won't be light. It can't be light. I mean, I can't imagine it being light armor. It'll have to be medium.
Unless they start doing what they're doing with the armor, but on clothing. So if you wear bulkier clothing, it will weigh you down a bit, maybe. Like, obviously, the heaviest clothing's never going to be the same as heavy armor, but maybe it'll have its own class or something. I don't know. Because I don't know how they're doing clothing at the moment in terms of weight.
Well, that's it. I mean, if everything does have a weight and a value, then, in theory, this is what I was chatting to somebody the other day, and I'm going to bring this to one of my conversations, actually, which I got a little video, which I've added in, which is, hello.
Oh, it's us. So cool. We're on the screen.
That's amazing.
It's explaining to you how those knives work. There's basically a little clip so it doesn't just fall out and cut your knob off.
And the little clip. Thank you.
Thank you, Star.
So it's got a little clip, and
cool.
and then that clips in. See, nice.
See, your knives, your balls are saved with us.
Your balls, your nuts are going to be saved. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I can see the little hook and clip. That's fantastic. Just hope it doesn't break. That's very cool. Yeah. So to do with weight, and it was to do with the way. And now I don't know this, so if chat knows this, that would be sweet to know. But the way the weight gates are. Now I was chatting to somebody, I think in someone's channel. I was watching ATC on Mike Rod's channel, and we ended up getting into discussion right at the end of his show. We never really got to carry on. But one of the things that we were talking about was how you measure the weight of stuff and how the game has like a weight ratio. Now, do they do a gradual and then you reach a certain weight and then that then becomes classed as the movement becomes classed as medium heavy armor? You know what I mean? Like at what point is there a flick into you're into now heavier gear? Do you know what I mean? Like at what point are you now into heavy? How do they do it? Do they do it by like pieces or by weight? And if they do it by weight, then that would answer this question, because in theory, if this becomes really heavy, this clothing that you're wearing for the winter, then that would bring you into the heavy movement. You know what I mean? That would, but I don't know how they do it. If anyone knows, let me know.
For game wise, I think it would be total weight rather than per item, because if you're wearing like heavy legs and the rest light armor, it would be. If it was just by item, it'd be weird to make you walk heavy. I don't know. I would say overall. Otherwise, but then you could say I've got really good free hand movement while my legs are tied down because I've got heavy legs on. So, yeah.
Well, that's it. That's kind of like my thing is like how do they? Because if they're going for more of a modular, if you're going for a modular, putting the clothing on, then you're going basing it on weight. Then you need to think about more of a modular weight ratio. Weight movements. Like in theory, your arms would move like you're losing light armor, but then your legs, your physical core is heavier. That brings your overall weight, so you can't necessarily trudge as easy. But then here's the thing: is like it creates like a meta. Like those people who do the number crunching, they can go into when they have loads more armor and pieces, they might be able to go in and say, okay, if you take this piece of helmet, it weighs this amount. You take this little piece of armor, it weighs this amount. You take this piece, and then that way you can then build a bit like Boba Fett's armor, really sweet ass Mandalorian cool armor. You know what I mean? Like you can take these pieces to create the better armor.
I would say it would be done by overall weight, but that's just my opinion, because if you don't do it by overall weight, then like you said, you can literally say, well, if I want to run faster, I'm going to wear medium legs, but everything else is going to be heavy. So I'm 90% heavy, but I've got light legs, so it means I can run quicker. So it's, and then you also, like you said, you're up to the point where, hang on, if I don't wear armor here, that reduces this, so I can free this bit up. I don't know. It'd be interesting for them to confirm how they do it.
That's one of the things I'm really hoping for at Citizencon this year is to do with the weather system. So one of my main things from Citizencon that I really want to see is weather. I want to see more improved, cloud tech, weather systems, snow, rain. I want to see these things on planets now. When we go to a planet, I want to see them. I mean, I've been watching. Hang on. It's with Bucky from Stargate Stargate. She's got a new show out, and I just started watching it last night, and I got hooked on it. What's it called? I got it on my Netflix. It's on my phone right now, and it's called Another Life. And I've been watching
that everybody slagged off.
I've been watching it, and I got hooked on it. I watched 100, okay? The 100 first episode was garbage, but by the time you got to the third season of the second season, once you get past the first couple episodes, like 100 is one of the greatest sci-fi shows I've seen in years.
I watched the first season and it was garbage. It was like...
So good, dude. Season 2 when the it's so good. It gets so good. It really does, honestly. It gets really good. Anyway, but this one, I watched a couple. I had to skip. There's a few moments of like, oh God, I'm bored. I have to kind of fast forward a little bit because I know it's predictable writing in a few places, so you know what's going to happen. But then there are bits that I was like, oh my God, what happened? But they have a bit where they, like the weather and it's kind of darker and gringier. And so I'm going to bring up, if you go into the document, hang on, let me just check to see if I've got it here. Hang on.
Most people said just the writing was terrible in Another Life, and I think it probably took away from the rest of the program. At least that's what most people seem to think.
Right, but I'm a child at heart, and I don't mind sci-fi. So for me, it's like I will watch it. It's science fiction. It's new storytelling to a degree, and it's intriguing. I'll skip the crappy bits that I know are crappy because they are crappy bits in it. And we'll get to there's some bad acting as well. There's a couple bits of very bad acting. But sorry, hang on. Let me get to.
He just basically what he's saying is he looks at the pretty pictures. It's like I've got it on mute and I watch the pretty pictures.
Okay. Yes. So if you go into forum finds, and then I've got 3 sections here. It's basically the videos, the streamables. We've got Red Dead Redemption 2 Weather Storm, Red Dead Redemption Weather Snow, and then we have the other one which is to do with movement, which we'll talk about weight and stuff. So we can do all this right now because this is just using other games as reference. So this is just talking about the weather. This is about Citizencon and what I'm really looking forward to. So the snow. So for me, one of the big things I really loved about Red Dead was in the beginning when you kind of have the missions. They shows trudging through the snow, gathering up kind of an asset and stuff, and being in deep snow and how that affects your movement. Excuse me. But he's like wearing thicker clothes. We're talking about trench coats and stuff. He's wearing thicker clothes, but his movement wasn't hampered too much, but you were slowed slightly, because the snow was high and it was kind of, you felt that physical trudge, which was really, really cool. And I just love the subtlety of the snow coming down. And so for me, when we see microtech and stuff, I want to see this year. This is one of my, if it doesn't look like this and I'm not trudging through snow and the audio and the sound, I'm going to be so disappointed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to have the horse.
Like, otherwise it's just like a white planet. If you're not going through the snow, I suppose it feels like you're just landing on a white planet, really. So
this was the first time I've ever played, other than there was a game as a science fiction game. There's the Dead Space. I think they went through a bit where they had snowy type of things, I think. And then there was another game I played ages ago on a PlayStation where you had robots and you had a time limit every time you got out of the robot. But you trudge through snow on that one, and the whole front cover is a robot with snow. I honestly can't believe I've forgotten the name of the game, but it was cool. Those are the 2 games, and then this one just came out of this snow. The snow weather was just so beautiful, so beautiful with the tracks and just everything. Really, 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 really cool. So that's the bar for me. The bar is there for Microtech to. If it looks like that, I will be so happy at Citizencon. And then the next one, which was the Storm one.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, like this took me to another place in terms of weather. So you just be going along on the planet.
Back
So
in
for
a
me,
sec.
it's like you get good weather on the planet, and then you get these weather systems that come in, and then suddenly it's raining, and then the character's starting to get wet, and then the way that the weather gets more severe, the clouds, the darkness of the kind of the light and the way it's all coming through, it's just gorgeous. And this is old, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine when ray tracing and all the new stuff that they want to do for Star Citizen and stuff, like this kind of level I want to, I want to get to, I know they want to get to, but when the weather comes down, the rain is coming sideways, like I want to see rain. I don't know about you guys, I want to see rain in game. I don't know if we've seen rain yet. I've seen dust particles, but I want to get that rain in, get that kind of like gray into the sky. And it probably because I'm British. There's lots of grey in Britain. Want the grey? Give me the grey. Give me those shades of grey, baby. But if you guys have never played it, I'm guessing you're all PC master race, so you probably don't own PlayStations and stuff. But I thoroughly, if this does come to PC, which it will do, I'm sure you'll buy it, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But it is fantastic. The way the wind as well, that sound of wind, like when you hear the airplanes fly over, the spaceships fly over the top of you, and you get that audible sound. I want to hear that from, want to hear nature, want to hear that rustling of wind and stuff like that, like earthquakes, tremors, I want to land on a planet where I feel like I'm going to you got like Pitch Black, for example, where it suddenly goes all dark for a huge period of time or something, and then weird shit comes out at you. Or like I say, like I watched this Another Life, where they land on like a moon, kind of like a moon, and then suddenly the moon of the moon, sorry, or the moon of the planet or whatever, rather than acting like in our world where it affects the water, it affects the magma on this place. So the magma gets pulled and suddenly starts moving and shifting and moving around the planet. So you've got time limits and that kind of stuff. That's the shit that I would be really excited to see from the environment team. I don't necessarily need to see more of the same what we've seen. I want to see more how they're going to make the planets that we have and what they're going to do going forward planet-wise feel unique and really, really different. That's kind of what I'd like to see.
Yeah, because we've seen weather. Well, we saw a bit of the weather storm, didn't we, on that one where the worm come up, because obviously it stopped them landing. Yeah. And it was a very small part, and that feels like it was ages ago now.
Ages ago.
It's quite surprising how much of a difference putting something like the weather you were talking about into a game, and how it really changes the atmosphere of the place that you're going. And you don't necessarily notice it. I mean, like say on Red Dead, I've seen you playing it a while, and it's not an obvious in-your-face thing, but then it just changes the way you almost feel that you're hunkering up when you start going into a snow area, or and then you see your character start shielding their hands, shielding their eyes when the dust storm kicks up and stuff. And it's that sort of thing. Like they talk about immersion and fidelity, drink everybody, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think having those kind of storms and that, and when we saw a preview of it in the demo, it was really cool. But I mean, it could be, obviously we're expecting it to be so much more, and then you start imagining the kind of lightning storms and all that sort of thing, because we're gonna need things to restrict our ships from landing. And weather is definitely one of the huge things I'm looking forward to having, and I'll be so disappointed that we still haven't got it yet. And
like from my perspective, it's just like it's just because I was watching ATC, and he was talking about like what do you think's going to make Citizencon, and what will kind of take it, what will surprise you and really push things for you. And I think we're kind of getting to the place where we've seen so much and they've surprised us so many times that it's going to be in the smaller things. And I think weather systems and weather stuff will be those bits that just take you even more into the planets and stuff. And like I said, if you can make the planets more unique weather-wise, so that they're like if you have a situation where you're potentially being because they showed us stuff with debris. Do you guys remember like the ATVs when they showed us the airplanes going through debris and being hit by debris, things like I want that in like planets. So, you are potentially going, it could be a big storm on the planet, or you're going through a big stormy area and you got to rescue, someone's giving you an SOS, or there's a mission to SOS, and you've got to go down there in your shuttle or, ship or whatever it is to pick them up. And, it's scary as shit. You can't, visibility's next to zero. You maybe have to rely on a little bit of a hologram thing, but maybe that's all got static electricity, storm shit's busting up. Like for me, and the sound of it all rattling, and you're trying to navigate and you can't see shit if you change it into the third person view because it's just cloud and crap. Like that for me would be, if they show that type of thing at Citizencon, I would be blown away. I would just be like, gimme, like just that's but anyway, that's just like maybe 2 steps too far, but it would be cool based on the things they've shown us in the past. Lead me to think, well, what if you had 2 years? That's 2 years.
I mean,
now. So
literally every sci-fi film has some form of sandstorms type thing that obscures your view. So we need it. We need a lot of things, but yeah. It's
Someone says, well, we're talking about I know you Zach, I know we're saying about like getting hover mode and stuff, and the way I look at that one is like they will get that sorted. It's just too basic for them not to get that sorted.
Plus we've flogged it to death, and we need to
I don't want to talk about
different.
it no more. So we're talking about
horses.
Bit,
we flogged that dead one to death.
Flog that dead horse. It's relevant. And then my last video. My last one. Now, this one is movement, and this is to do with movement, and this was to do with heavy, and we're talking about movement. Now, this is Modern Warfare. This is the new Modern Warfare. I'm super excited for. This is the gameplay, and this is the Juggernaut. So they brought the Juggernaut back. Now, I bring this up because I wanted to talk about the heavy armor and movement within heavy armor and stuff, because you'll see the guy there on the right hand side when he jumps and runs. He looks like those guys look like they're medium to light armor. They run, but this guy, you can see his sprint is labored. It isn't fast. It's pretty slow. I firmly, when you look at the animations and stuff of our heavy armor, it feels still, in my opinion, it feels weird, slightly too fast is the best way to describe it. I feel like
it doesn't feel like kind of proper heavy armor, does it? It feels like you're wearing chunky stuff, but not proper. Almost like before the step before like a Titan suit, when it's like really slow. You need that sort of like one where it's like, I suppose in that Modern Warfare it's probably like all padded up, like completely restricts your movement. Whereas the heavy armor we've got now at the moment, it's been designed so it doesn't restrict your movement as such. It's big, it's bulky, but it doesn't restrict your movement too much. And I think that's probably the difference that you're seeing.
And for me, it should be a case of like, if you're going to go to wear heavy armor, you shouldn't really be running around much. It should be like, in my opinion, it's kind of like, you drop out of a ship wearing, this gear, kind of chunking along. You're not going for a run, a marathon anyway, you're not running across Lawville.
I don't know if we're going to get that, like another tier of heavy, or whether our one to be that slow will be the Titan type suit. I don't know if we'll get like that in between,
With the Titan suit, I've always thought, the way I envision the Titan suit is kind of like an all-terrain mechy kind of suit, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I've always envisioned it.
It's not a mech.
It's not a mech suit. I've always envisioned it like that. And the design of it looks like the guy gets into like a mech suit, doesn't he? He gets into like a robot suit.
I don't know who it is, but one of them devs is going to kill you.
So I know. He said it's not. I know he said it's not, but he's also, didn't he work on a mech warrior as well?
Yeah.
So he says it's not, and it's fine. It's not. We'll say it's not. But then I can't imagine it being slower. The arms, your legs are going to be bigger, longer. In theory, you should physically be able to travel a greater distance. So in theory, you're going to be running faster, moving faster with more armor.
So you think you'll be more
guns.
agility?
Yeah, you'll have more agility with the heavy. You're not going to have less. You should have more. You know what I mean?
Well, if it is more of a mech suit, then I would say you're definitely not going to have more agility because they're built as just big hulking machines. If it's like, as Viking says, more the Anthem suit, then they were built for maneuverability. So it depends on which way it falls and how they design it, I suppose. Because most of
Yeah.
the, like you said, if you think of it in terms of mech suit, every mech suit I know of, it's more of it slows everything down. But you're obviously getting the benefit of massive guns, lots of armor plating.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking like Titanfall, kind of that kind of styling where
Yeah.
it's kind of okay. But you can't get like speedy. You can get a speedy version, can you? They have the fast version.
I suppose they're
medium one,
slow
and the heavy
to kind of
version.
maneuver, but they do maybe move faster because they've got longer legs, haven't they? So they kind of cover more distance, I suppose.
Yeah, that's kind of in my head. But anyway, like I just was kind of curious. Like I was just because I see the Juggernaut and I kind of go, well, what is Star Citizen's heavy armor? Is it just? It's just more armor. Do you know what I mean? It's like, again, it's this tiering. You know, maybe there will be another, like you said, maybe there will be a Juggernaut or an equivalent. You know, even more heavy armor. You know, even heavier armor. You know, fully like where you can literally
Double
not
heavy.
not sprinting. Yeah, double heavy. Yeah, why not? Why? I mean, again, that's like that'd be kind of cool, like to see a Juggernaut version, and even more kind of like shipjacker.
More
Juggernaut.
heavy.
Yeah, that would be sick. Anyway, just a kind of a thought, looking at the armor and stuff. That's my spiel on videos. Anyway, that's my Red Dead love.
That was a little
Juggernaut
bit
spiel.
of a sidetrack, but so
There was
back
because
on.
do you know what it was? Do you know what it was? It was to do with this picture that someone put on Reddit of the Gladius going through the cloud. It was the one on the Reddit picture.
Oh, okay.
It was just above the RD2 one. Someone said the one thing I really want to see is weather and clouds. So they're similar to me. And they had it going through clouds and stuff, the Gladius, which I thought was like, ooh, pretty. Very pretty. Clouds.
Yeah.
But I was like, I liked it, but then I looked at me and I went, but it just looks like I'm flying in Earth, and it just looks like an airplane now, and I'm playing a space game. You know what I mean?
And that's why I was saying, like, this actually is just like an image that just enforces that I like more alien style ships, because you put that on. I mean, that is just an Earth. They just superimposed that on top of a cloud from like, Earth, but yeah, it just makes it look like it's a normal plane to me. I'm like, I want spaceships, not just planes that go in space. So yeah.
You got to change that whole scene. He needs to, we need to get some video editing in there. Put a couple alien
Just need a new
ships
ship.
chasing him behind.
Just need a different ship.
Yeah. Put the banner, and you need to change the coloring. Bright blue sky. You want to change that to slightly different shade. Get some filter lenses on there. Get some J.J. Abrams lens on there. Maybe a little UFO in the corner. Yeah, no. Yeah. But anyway, it got me excited anyway. I'm with them. I'm excited for that. I don't know what you guys are excited for in chat, but I'm excited for cloud tech. Definitely.
Give us all the
Weather
clouds.
systems. Weathers and weathers. Okay. Sorry, miss.
That's
Carry on.
okay.
And will you
this
carry
is
on? I'm
just-
going for a drink.
This is just carrying on with more styles. I don't know, were these meant to be street vendors or were these meant to... Oh, shopkeepers, there you go. So again, it's just going on with... I don't know if that one's meant to be a shop vendor, but probably. Just going on with more styles, really. So, I mean, they're all following a... This is what makes me wonder if they're for a certain kind of planet or something, because they're following a very similar theme with the angled sort of cuts, especially around the jackets. It's the same similar sort of shape that we saw on the bartender and stuff. I thought it was pretty hippie looking. And he's got his flip-flops on.
Are you saying they've only got one idea? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. It's missing his Crocs, obviously, so we'll get on to Jay Lee about that and get him to actually design a few space Crocs. Actually, we could... If chat, if you want to do something, we can design some futuristic Crocs. Maybe that's what we can get Madness to do. Live stream next Monday's podcast, making some futuristic looking Crocs. While he's not here, we'll just get that in. So chat's all agreed with that, so we're definitely doing that next week. Then like you said, then we kind of got the similar thing with the patches on the legs, this sort of longer side panels and things. But yeah, I mean, it's another design. It's something. It's different. There's not a lot to say about it.
It's no Crocs. How dare you, chat? You traitors, a lot of them. No, there will be no designing of Crocs ever.
Why not? Of course there will.
Well, actually, no. I say never. I say never.
Come on, just
I
think
say
about
never.
it.
Trust
Some
me, after having a
Star
conversation with
Citizen,
my boss today. I might
futuristic
consider
Crocs.
it.
Do it.
I'm gonna go up and go design some Crocs. Work for Crocs. Ooh. It may be an option.
This outfit
It may
is
be a future option.
screaming for Crocs. Screaming for it.
Do you know what? Do you know what was interesting? I don't think you touched on this, but maybe you're going to. Was that they were just? He was discussing how they were looking at different faiths, different cultures on Earth, and incorporating their styling, their clothing into this as well, which I thought was really interesting. How they were doing that, because I was under the impression that there is no religion within the lore. There's no religion anymore within the lore of Star Citizen, but there must be then some, or there must be a continuation of some of the clothing and stuff, because obviously he's taking the inspiration. I'm guessing it's not a religious thing, the headpiece, because obviously not, but I always was like, it's to do with the faith ultimately in the core, because it's to do with not cutting your hair, so you would wrap your hair around inside the turban, right? Is this from what I understand? I'm very not knowledgeable on this stuff, so I'm just curious if people are and they know more about it. Please feel free to say in chat. I'd be fascinated to know. But if it was a clothing thing first, or if it was a religious thing to do with fitting a solution to grow long hair because you don't cut it because of your religion, I don't know.
I mean, what's interesting about it is that, like you said, they and Jaylee confirmed that there is no religion, or at least not that style in the future, especially with all the different planets and everything. But I don't know whether they just implemented this because they thought it would be an interesting thing to put in, to kind of put these faiths and then try and futurize them, make them look like they would fit in. It's just more designs, gives you more versatility within people looking different, which I think it's cool. I think it's a good idea. Or it also could be an element that, although it's like now we've got different faiths that all believe different things, so even in the future, even though there's no necessarily an official faith that a lot of people or the world is following, you'll still maybe get sects where people still believe the religion that their forefathers and the fathers before them believed, and maybe they still live that way.
I think it's one of the. I don't believe it. I don't think humans. I honestly don't think humans would be able to remove completely their.
But that's what I mean.
That
it's
part
like,
of they are.
Yeah.
They would have to, I think it's unrealistic in my opinion. I think yes, you could, like you said, I think you could have a huge group of people, obviously, that are that don't believe in anything and all that sort of stuff, and state kind of driven or whatever. But it would be underground, and I still think you'd have on the remote parts of humans, like outskirts of whatever on different planets and stuff, would form their own kind of things would happen. People, you got crazy people out there. There's a lot of crazy people. There would be something there. So it's a great opportunity, hopefully, for some. I think it's a missed opportunity for storytelling. That's the way I go. Why are you missing? Like, are you just worried you're going to offend someone? Like,
I think
don't worry, you're not going to offend.
I think it's the worry of like, I mean, if you've got all the different religions, do you represent some of them? Do you represent all of them? And then if you don't know much about that religion, and then you try and put it into a game and then represent it and do story around it, you're going to look stupid unless you study it or get experts in of each of the religions as well. It makes it a lot more.
Your own.
Oh, they can make their own. Yeah, make their own. Sorry, I thought you meant put in these religions. Oh, yeah.
No, you could take things, you could use our base religion. At the end of the day, think of all the different types of faiths and beliefs that humans have had over all the different continents on this planet alone, over the thousands of years that we've been here. Obviously, there's a core number of that are obviously been around for a long time and are kind of very dominant, but there are so many. We had the Greek gods, we had the Egyptian gods, we've had, Aztec gods. The Native Americans have their whole culture and their whole belief system that they had, and animals and all that sort of stuff. And then we had, got China's got all their China's gods and all the different things going over there. Then they had, and then you have then the state kind of thing. Then you got atheism, and then you've got Christianity, and then you've got you got so many different things in the melting pot, and then suddenly to say they're not that exists anymore.
I'm not 100% sure that we're not going to get gods or religion. I think it's that we're not going to get our religion in the game. I think that's what they meant.
that's fine. And then
I
that's
think
fine.
I think we will. I think we probably will still see religion. I mean, Des says there's one called the Journeyman or something. So I think we'll get
Okay, so
religion. I
there's
just
still
don't
some
think
then.
we're going to get our religion as we know it, sort of thing.
Okay. Well, that's fine. But under the exactly, pagan, Viking gods, exactly. There's so many. Like, it just makes no sense, in my opinion, that they wouldn't.
Like
have
you said, humans can't give that up.
continuation
No
of
matter
that.
how much science slaps them in the face, there's still plenty of. It's one of the things that make us human, I suppose. And then there's also other alien races, and whether they have their beliefs as well, I suppose. So.
Yeah, and I think I'll always remember, like, as a kid. I mean, we talked about Judge Dredd. What terrible freaking movie with but the brothers, the cannibal brothers, who kind of were like, they had their faith in the thing, and then they eat people and consume their soul or whatever else it is. That's based on kind of religion and different types of religions all blended and weird stuff together. Voodoo is kind of a weird blend of African kind of stuff and Christianity blending together. It's like there's an opportunity to kind of like create, like you said, these journeymen. I'd be fascinated to see more of that on remote outposts where you meet interesting NPCs or kind of like these people and this. It'd be kind of cool, in my opinion, like in Dead Space, where they had a religious, there was a religion there, overriding religion, where they wanted to kind of form something to create stuff. I mean, we spoke about it before, people who worship the Vandal or whatever, it would, in my head, it would, I think they got it's good. And I when I saw this, I was excited because I was like, cool, because I thought they weren't going to do any. That's the thing. I was getting this vibe. It was just going to be atheist / no religion whatsoever, no faiths of any kind in the game, and I was like, nah, it seems like such a missed opportunity, man.
I don't think I've seen
futuristic religions.
It's another thing I don't think I've seen a sci-fi that doesn't have some form of religious cult trying to push their ideas in when they're walking down the street or whatever, and it's I think this is going to be no different. And then you've also got the role play base, and like you said, there's bound to be players that are going to start a cult of like Vandal and worshipping Vandal or
turtle
whatever.
worshippers.
Turtle worshipper, dude.
Turtle power. Oh no, but 100%. Like I just think they gotta do it, man. They gotta do it. That just makes more sense.
Cowabunga, dude.
Again, the genre, like, but again, like if you think about it, like when we first met aliens in the game, like the lore. I mean, I wish we had Paul on, and we should have got Paul on because he would have been a good person. Well, maybe I'll talk to Paul and see if we can get Paul on to have a deeper dive into this and talk about this, because he's the lore man. I'm gonna have a chat with him, and we'll see if we can bring him on, and we'll maybe do a deeper talk on this, because I think it would be fascinating to talk about it a little bit more with someone who knows more about lore and less of my lack of knowledge on the lore side. Okay.
And for those of you that are interested in lore, go and check Paul's video YouTube channel where he has the Galactic Historian.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
You can go and
if you
listen
guys
to all
haven't
about
checked
the
it
lore,
out,
which is something we should do if you're going to invite him on to talk about Galactic history.
I will. I do try to. I'm not gonna lie. I watched his new introduction where he had the smoking pipe and thing, and I was watching it a little bit before I went to bed, and it was perfect for sending me to sleep. No, I'm only joking. It was literally like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh yeah, he's got his new thing. And I watched it, and I really enjoyed the first 10-20 minutes of it, but then it was like really late, so I couldn't watch anymore. But it's on my list. It's on my playlist on my YouTube. I have a couple playlists. I've got Joe Rogan with Bernie Sanders, which I need to watch. And then I have that Law, the one that I need to finish that I was watching. And then I have another one on my list to watch. And then unfortunately, I got stuck on this mediocre sci-fi show, and I need to finish it. I've got to finish it. Right. Okay. Next. Any more on the Cool Apparel?
I think that was
the live.
Pretty much about the well, actually, yeah, because it was about clothing, so we might as well link the live thing. Before we go into the other bits of ICS. So, watch your eyes, because I didn't bother recording the whole thing, just the end result.
Wow. Now, like, I always loved Disco and Disco and Jay Lee. I mean, we know that they play D&D together. We know, obviously, clearly there's a group there
they
within
love each
CRG.
other.
I think that they get on. There's genuine chemistry, friendship, and you see that. You know what I mean? You see it on the show, and it's really nice to watch. Don't get me wrong. Me, it's really, really good to watch. And it was interesting to see how they kind of thinks as he's kind of designing things and all the rest of it. Was I super impressed with the design of the piece? No, no, not at all. But I really enjoyed the process and how they're thinking, and just listen to them talk. And like I said, it was kind of cool. Kind of like, I thought this looked like Mac. I don't know if what you thought. I thought this was Ryan for a bit. I don't know. I was getting a Ryan vibe from the guy in the picture.
Yeah,
because Ryan's looking like a twiglet these days.
He is looking like a twiglet. That's true.
He says he's got a six-pack now. I'm like, dude, that's what happens when you lose all of your body mass. You suddenly, all that's left is the muscles to keep the body together.
That's not a six-pack. That's just your rib cage
just you
sticking
staying
through.
Upright. That's just you staying upright. If you didn't have that, you'd fall over, mate. He's gone all vegan, guys. This is what happens. You go vegan, you start looking healthy. That's the problem. You need some meat on the bone. You eat those.
It's bad for your health.
It's bad for your health.
So yeah, I mean, this design, I felt a little bit like they got carried away with talking to each other rather than designing. I think there was a lot of he kept just flitting back and forward from the same picture, which, you know, it is what it is. But it wasn't so much about the final product, I suppose. It was a little bit showcasing how his thought process was, what he was looking at. Again, we've got very similar angles on this top to the ones that we were seeing on the actual ISC. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be like a coat, so he said it goes over the top. And one of the things he said was interesting was the coat layer is like a free form at the moment. It doesn't have a set of rules like the other places do.
Yeah. Which is interesting because it's a piece that sits on top of all the, because the way they layer the armor, right? The way they've done it, which I think is genius, by the way. I don't know if it's super unique for the industry, but the way they've done it, I think is really cool. And then is this the final piece? So this one doesn't have anything you can hang on to, like you can't add anything to it. It just sits on top of the armor, right?
Yeah, I think this is the final piece. This is like the coat is the final bit that goes on top. Which is why with people that want trench coats, it should be something that we will get invented. Because first of all, it was like, oh no, you can't get that. And then now with them working more on the technology and these modular systems, I think it's something that they can have. Because I can't, unless I know originally it was like people said they wanted like cloaks and things like that. And I said, well, they can't because it would have to be part of the armor section. But I think it's the new thing now where they don't need to, it can go on top.
Yeah, it's he definitely didn't get around to finishing it. Like I said, in terms, if I was looking at it as an exercise in, I think if he hadn't had Disco there and you'd just seen him working, I think you would have seen a different result.
Yeah.
He would have probably talked through it, and I think you'd see, like for me, the way I described this to Miz at the beginning, I said within 20 minutes he kind of got to the same finished quality level as you see here. It was like he was just playing, and like you said, he was just showing you the process, and they were having a really good talk. What I did think was really interesting, I don't know if anyone else in chat. Now I spoke to Miz about this, and I said within 1 minute and 28 seconds, he got the name wrong of a ship. And he kept repeating the same name of a different ship. Now, I'm always learning cool shit about this game, even 3.5 years later, about ships that I had no idea about. But there's a ship that he named, and I asked Miz, and Miz found out and told me. What was the name of the ship, Miz?
Retribution.
The Retribution. And I don't know if anyone else picked up on that, but he was talking about the Reclaimer, I think, but he kept saying Retribution. And it was really interesting.
Yeah, he said something about the Retribution land taking off. He said, we saw the Retribution taking off. Yeah. Whether he meant the Retribution, well, he obviously meant the Reclaimer, but whether he had seen the Retribution.
Yeah, that's it.
Not, we don't know.
And he kept saying it, and he kept being comfortable with it. And again, these guys, they see things that we don't see. They see Squadron 42. He works on Squadron 42 assets, apparel, and all the rest of it all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's seen stuff. Now, Miz brought. Now, if you don't know what the Retribution is, I now know what it is because Miz dug it out. The Retribution is way too big to land on a planet. No, I was definitely talking about another ship, but the fact that he was using the name of a different ship was really interesting. Now, the Retribution is a Juggernaut size. I didn't even realize this. I was like, we're talking about Juggernaut armor. This is a Juggernaut. It's a Juggernaut ship. Now, I'm going to try and read it. What was the information? The Retribution. It's a super dreadnought. Sorry, not a Juggernaut. It's a dreadnought. My apologies. It's a dreadnought-sized capital ship. And I was like, holy moly! I was like, that sounds. It's tiny, Viking X. That sounds like the Superstar Death Destroyer. Like that feels like that's what this is. And then I saw the picture and I was like, oh. And then it got me thinking, what if they showed this off at Citizencon? No. What if they showed us a Juggernaut size ship? Because they've shown us what the thing is like. Where can you go once you've we've seen the Javelin, we've seen the Bengals, we've seen big ass ships. Whale accounts will wet their pants if you suddenly were like,
this is the largest capital
Dreadnought,
ship by the UAE, and it says it's part of the Vandal War. They are not going to be showing it off. You're not going to be able to buy it, and they're not going to show it off. That's something that you want. That's your wow impact when you're playing the game. That would be
crazy. Is that the size of it there? The Retribution. Look at the size of it. The Bengal is huge. This is freaking. I'm just saying. That is.
It's 3 times the size of the Bengal.
I didn't even know that existed. This is what I mean. I am learning. I continue to learn what ships are like in game because people don't know. I honestly I feel sometimes when I find out about these things, it's like I thought the Bengal was the biggest ship. I thought the Bengal's the biggest ship. That's the big one. It goes Javelin, then it goes Bengal, and then that's it. And then we have the Vandal Kingship is the biggest ship in the game. And then all of a sudden I'm faced with the reality that there's this thing called the Retribution, which is massive. Absolutely massive.
I mean, I painted the Javelin in scale, and it was that big. So if I painted that one to the same scale, it'd be the size of my room, probably, if not bigger.
It's insane. So for me, again, we're talking about we're talking about server meshing and getting ships into the game and assets into the game. So now they talked about it. We're not going to be able to own a Bengal. Is that right? We can steal a Bengal. I think we're not going to be able to own one. So I'm guessing we won't be able to own the Retribution yet. I'm hoping we'll be able to eventually, but own all of these things when
You won't ever own a Retribution. That's going to be UAE Navy stuff. You're not going to own it. You're not even going to see it.
Everyone's going to be like, that would be like the number one. Every org's kind of like, could you imagine if you org could get one of those things?
Yeah.
The running costs of it alone, everyone's like, no, it's not going to happen. I never say never. Anyway, it was something again. So I'm just going to ask chat now. There's no other ships bigger than this one, right?
Yeah,
I've reached the limit now.
The Kingship.
No, the Kingship. Yeah, I know that one. I know the Kingship. That's fine. I know the Vandal biggest ship, but in terms of the UEE, this is the biggest UEE the largest
ship.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's a shame. I've reached the final peak of my surprise knowledge in spaceships. That's a shame. That is a shame. But look at the Hammerhead next to it. Look at the Reclaimer. The Reclaimer is the biggest ship in the game right now.
Yeah. It'll take you a while. We're talking about quantum times. Thinking about how long it's going to take to walk from one end of the Retribution to the other.
This is March 2018, so this isn't super new. So is the 890 bigger now than 123 meters? Does anyone know what the official?
Have they made it bigger?
Without me digging into it, because everyone talks about the 890 being the biggest ship in the game, but if you actually look at it on paper, the Reclaimer is still bigger at 158 meters.
They did change the size of it a bit. They did change the size of it a bit. Because that's what we were saying. Everything grew, didn't it? Yeah, 200 plus people are saying. So 210.
Is it 2? I knew it was bigger, but I wasn't. So this is obviously an old one then.
Smaller than the Idris, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So yeah, because I was on. So, but it's not going to be. I mean, so what, 200 meters? Did they say in chat? Sorry, I didn't.
The
I haven't got chat
Orion's
open.
bigger.
The ship. The ship might be an Aegis escort carrier. Just telling by the screenshot CIG showed in April. Yeah, well, that's it. That's when I'm. Yeah, that's the thing is we've got a new Aegis capital ship coming potentially. That's what I mean. I was just thinking he was talking about the Retribution randomly, seeing it landing, and just talking about the name. So I thought maybe he'd seen the Retribution. He'd maybe been at someone's desk, maybe seen someone was working on it. Maybe they've had a meeting in the office where they've been talking about the Retribution. Maybe he's doing a Squadron 42 episode where it's in as an asset or whatever. So it just got me thinking. I was like, it's a Freudian slip. You know what I mean? It's like, anyway. Hypothetical. Hypothetical.
Wow.
Hypothetical. Very hypothetical. Hypothetical. Yes. I was like, I just know that, again, if you think of the scale, that's like literally the size of Lorville, like bigger than Lorville moving through the sky. You know what I mean? Like, it's a part
Did
of
you
a
just
planet.
say bigger than the sky?
It's bigger than it's like did I say bigger than the sky? I mean, it's like it's not bigger than the sky. It's like a piece of land flying through the sky. It's like, I don't know. It's like you take I don't know. I'm just the idea of that size ship. Just I can't imagine it. You know what I mean? Like I think even standing there, you won't even be able to see probably the beginning of the end of it. You know what I mean? Like the scale will seem so weird in space as well because it's all black. So but then when it comes into view, it'll just, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's like seeing the planets. I don't know.
But when you're talking about, like, obviously we've seen some bigger ships, but when you're talking about these real big ones, they're ones that you just cannot get your head around until you actually get to fly next to them in game, or because you see in them pictures with the auroras like a pixel compared to them, and yet you still get to your aurora and you still have to look up and climb into the ladder. So you imagine like flying up to one of these giant things. It's just going to be, it's going to be a bit mind blowing when we actually get to do it on the proper big capital stuff.
There is a name. There's a name for it. When to do with grasping large numbers and comprehending like large numbers and large things. The brain. I forget what it's called. It's a terminology.
So while he's looking,
there's a name for it. No, it doesn't matter. I can't figure out. I was watching Corridor Crew. If you've never seen Corridor Crew, by the way, anybody here, probably one of the best channels on YouTube. I think if you like visual effects, as I've worked there and studied it for a while, it is a great group. Corridor Crew, definitely check them out on YouTube. They did the Boston Dynamic thing, which was really cool. And they're a bunch of lads having a great time, having a laugh. Their YouTube channels are amazing. And there's a bit where he talks about big numbers, grasping, billions, dealing with billions and like the difference between a million and a billion and all that stuff. Really interesting. Sorry, I can't figure it. I wish I was more able to grasp cool shit like that out of my head. I need to practice.
So he needs a word for grasping cool shit, the same as he needs a word for grasping big numbers.
Yes. I need a better brain is what I need. Looking forward to this Elon Musk grafting my brain onto a computer. It could be the answer, chat. It could be the answer to all of my dyslexic problems. Could you imagine, like, all the people who struggle with that part of the brain, like, that you cannot get access to the other side, and you'd be like, that's okay, we'll just expand your brain with a computer on that side, so you'll now have a super brain because you'll be able to use the whole front side of your brain for creativity, and the back, which is only a smaller section, now we've enlarged it. We've added an SSD drive, 1 terabyte upgrade to your brain.
The world's full of enough smart asses as it is to anymore. I'd go. I think there was a Rimmer. This reminded me very much of a Red Dwarf episode where I think Arnie's on a holo ship and he wants to upgrade, like become really smart, and so he has like a mind graft to become really smart, but he changes his personality into a complete knob. Or It's like taking trolling to a whole new level. Be so sophisticated trolls now would be saying things that you just don't comprehend. It'd be like, oh god.
Yeah. Anyway, it's scary though. I was watching him. I was watching and reading about him, talking about it and whatever, and it was I was a bit like, ooh, that sounds a bit crazy, Elon. And like he's been working on. He talks about AI taking over the world.
And then designs it.
He's adamantly designing, currently designing it. I'm like, Elon, what are you doing? You're the biggest.
It's definitely going to take over the world. I know because I've made it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, and now I'm taking over the world. And I worry about people taking over. It's the worst thing is when the government's getting control. But don't worry, when one individual has control, it's so much better. I was like, no,
because that never ends in tears.
No, it doesn't. Oh God. Anyway.
So
usual off-topic conversation.
Yeah, and so we had like this isn't overly exciting, but we'll show it off a little bit. It's like,
by the way, if people want to ask us a question, I think it's Q. Is it Q?
Exclamation mark, question mark. I really need to do a different one because exclamation mark, question mark is not an easy thing to say.
There you go. The symbol for a question. Question mark.
Yeah, that was so much easier.
I was trying and it failed.
It's the exclamation mark that's the difficult part, not the question mark.
Yeah.
It's not... Oh, the symbol. Please insert exclamation mark and the symbol for a question. Yeah. Okay.
I think before exclamation question was actually a pretty good one. It's like one word. Anyway, yes, fauna. Gathering stuff.
Harvesting little bits. This is for the bushwhackers. They're good at that sort of stuff. Why does that stop playing?
You just need a door in between there just to kind of make it difficult.
It seems to not have copied the video.
Does it work?
Properly. So we've got one piece of shopping to look at. But anyway, so harvest all's coming. At least, I mean, we've seen it in lots of other survival games. So it's nice to see the kind of imitating that and copying it. What I quite liked was on the tree, instead of just like going up to a tree and like you harvest it, you actually see little bits of fruit that you can take off and put into your new inventory that they're bringing along with it or something.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see Citizencon. I expect to see more.
Until we get anything to do with it, it's kind of just another way to fill up your inventory. He was throwing it. I mean, you can have like pine cone fights throwing at each other, but
can you set fire to them?
Yeah. Perfect.
Climb a tree, and we could have people underneath pretending to be wargs from Lord of the Rings and throw flaming pine cones at them. That would be quite fun. Oh God.
Yeah. So anyway, harvest the ball's great. It's a start. At least we're seeing something along the way to harvesting. Gandalf, catch. Anyway, and then we had props, which is working. Thank you. So we had the bar props basically. I mean, one thing with this, it was a bit like they even said we don't need it, but it adds to immersion, and it's like. Wow, how many of you really would notice if it went and picked different bottles of drink from the shelf to make your drink?
This is one of those kind of weird ones where I kind of go. Everyone talks about like the prioritizing, resources and time and this type of thing. It's I don't know, like. I don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? In terms of like, when they finish this, what's their next job? If this was delaying something super important, then I would be obviously perceived important for the community, should I say? I would be disappointed. But yeah, I'm with you on this one. I kind of go, we could.
This is,
probably
I suppose,
do without it.
What I'm saying is, I feel like this, I guess, is something that you would expect to see, almost like in beta stages, like polishing. So you've seen your bartender doing animation. Well, now we've managed to do it so that he actually picks the right drink that you're after. It feels like this is more on than you expect it to be. When there's other stuff that's not working, like sitting on a bar stool that they're struggling to get right. So I don't know. I mean, it's adding to the immersion of the game for sure. And yeah, true. Windlord, it could very well be beginner animators and things like that, learning the trade and coding and stuff. So it's sort of like a small project to put them on.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're new, I would give this project to an intern, you know what I mean, or someone who's just kind of starting and wanting to learn the way that things work. So, as long as it's not, I wouldn't want to think your lead artist is working on this type of thing. Is the best way to describe it. Not that they wouldn't do a fantastic job, or that the person who's doing this. I think they've done a great job. I think these assets look fantastic. By the way,
It's not so much. It's not so much the art and the props. Well, it is, but I think it was more them saying about the fact that the animation is like. So if you ask for a Radagast, he'll go and grab a Radagast and mix your drinks.
That was worrying me. That was when I got worried, because then I was like, okay, so now we're into the world of animation, and then the bar again. We're back to this whole. You know, how many animations have we seen? Yeah, how many animations have we seen of a barman wiping, cleaning? You know, and I'm like, so clearly the most finished animation and the most finished place to be in Star Citizen is going to be in the bar. so
they know us too well. Just alcoholics. It's just going to sit in a bar.
Citizen. That's literally what they're going to do. They want to bring VoIP into every bar, so no one ever will go out and meet anyone anymore at actual locations. We'll all do digital bar citizens in the verse. That's there with VoIP and FOIP and everything else. You know, that's actually what's going to happen. We're all going to have real bar, and again, that's kind of cool. You know,
and it also doesn't matter if you've got no content for Star Citizen, because you can sit there and order a drink and watch them mix you up a proper drink. Yeah. I mean, is he gonna sit there and get like a little shot glass and actually measure like 2 shots of gin, 1 shot? Like, how deep are they gonna go down this rabbit hole?
I worry. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have well, they already showed us with the floating ice cube, haven't they? In the thing, you know, the liquid. I worry that it's you do kind of go, guys, not being funny, but you know, some climbing animations might be quite nice.
Yeah, it's cool shit, but is
climbing
it?
At rocks and stuff.
I mean, we don't know. We're not running a company. We don't know if this is so far removed to the people working on the other stuff that it doesn't make a difference. Like, they can't chuck more people at, say, the running animation because the team's working on it. Otherwise, like as Grave Peril says, yes, it could probably be put onto shopkeepers and stuff. But again, for me to play a game, that sort of immersion wouldn't matter too much. Like, I've played many games where the shopkeeper just walks to the back, turns around and comes back and says, here, I've got your pair of shoes. Now, obviously, I know Star Citizen trying to go to the next level, but I'd rather a game that's working, that's got all the basic features before I worry about whether he's bringing me the right pair of shoes. Now, we're not devs. I'm not being a backseat developer, and if it is because it's in some intern or some other person's hand, that because they can't chuck anymore at, say, the other animations, then that's fine. But I just, like I said, I'd like to see some of the other things being done.
Yeah, it does. And they talked about it. I would like to have seen it. Maybe again we'll see more of it later. But it'd be kind of cool to see them. I mean, I haven't even. Do we have a guide? Does the barman even mix one single drink now? I mean, is this in order to make?
I've not seen him hold one, but he kind of does the pour motion, doesn't he, for the one whiskey or something, doesn't he? Yeah.
The one whiskey. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like, I don't know. I mean, again, like I say, I think splitting hairs. Like, you know, when I went to Mass Effect and I'd go to the bar there, I never felt the necessary need to know that he was pouring me exactly the drink that I ordered. Just the fact that he gave me something cold and wet, you know, kind of got passed across the table. You kind of pretend to drink it and get a bit. You had the effect of being drunk. That was kind of cool enough. And then you did some shepherd dancing. Whee! You know, that gave me a little bit. And you had the kind of the dancing and the beats and the music and stuff in the bar, and you know, there's more to it. I get it. I don't know. I get it. Star Citizen, like we said this the other day. I was watching Zach. I don't know if Zach's still in here. As Epic Zach was in here. He was playing Warframe, and Warframe have got this new. I don't know if it's new, but they have a hoverboard. They have a freaking hoverboard, and he was zooming around on it, and I was just like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! It's so much fun." He's like, "Oh, it's the best." And he's just, you know, you're riding it like a snowboard, but it's a hoverboard, and it's like my dream vehicle is in another game and not in one of my favorite space games. I've been wanting a hoverboard in Star Citizen forever. They've got hover tech, for crying out loud. It would be, seriously, anybody in their right mind was the human would have made a hoverboard by now. If the hoverboard technology's in, you would. They already do it now. So I was like, make me a hoverboard. It's got to be done. But then I thought about it, and I was like, if CIG made a hoverboard in their game, you know what they would do? It would have to go into the Gravlev / whatever the new flight model hover system is. It would then have to probably have animations for falling off of it. It would probably, the minute you have even remotely touched anything or did anything, it would probably go all over the place.
Use your inner thought to stand on it.
You'd have to inner thought it, yeah. You'd have to then get on from the left-hand side all the time. You could never get on from the right-hand side, and it would all end terribly. You know what I mean? Because it would be overworked and over thought out. And I realized in that point, I was like, it'll never be in because they would just overwork it. And that was what I was thinking about with this one. It was that I worry that they overwork things, and I was like, there's an example of potentially if they do this, where it's like, you're missing all of this other stuff, but don't worry, the bar is working great. It's like,
yeah, no, that's totally it. It's the as they like to keep saying, the fidelity and going that deep into the fidelity, and whether it can hinder it sometimes. And this is we won't go down that conversation again because we talked about the planets and everything else. But it's along those lines. Like the more immersive, the more complicated you want to make it, the more that it will hold stuff up. Because, like you said, there's no such thing then as just simply adding something. You've got to, you've literally got to go and add, like you said, all this extra stuff that goes along with it. And that's the more complicated thing. It's like, well, you can't now just say, well, let's... And they said it before when he said, oh, can you add this to the game? They're saying, well, we could, but it's not as simple as just adding it to the game, because then it's got to fit, like, say it's a piece of item of clothing, because that's what we're talking about. If you just add, say, like a cool looking arm brace, oh yeah, it's cool, but then we've got to make it so that it goes underneath a coat, that it goes on top of your armor, that it means that it doesn't clash with your mobi-glass, that it's got an animation for it, and yeah, you kind of go through that sort of process. And it's I kind of just hoping that it's not deteriorating from some things because of we can't do it because it's making everything too complicated, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, it's animation that definitely can be used in other places, so
yep, 100%, dude. What do you think of this gun?
It looks like it's got a big barrel on it.
I love it. This is one of my favorite looking guns. I know it sounds. I want to hand carry it. They were talking about the Juggernaut.
Almost looks like a bazooka.
I want to carry it. It just looks.
It makes
so
me think
cool.
of almost like a rocket launcher, big barrel on it.
So good. Yeah, just looks
I'm
so
not
good.
a gun person, so.
No, I know. It's a gun. I know. But in terms of design, there are guns and there are guns. This one, I think the people who do the guns at Star Citizen are the same masters like they do the spaceships. Beautiful pieces of artwork, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And this just looks glorious. The animations will be great on it as well, I expect. This is a long range gun though, right? This is the one that's going to fire at a long range. It's like a snipery type of thing, they've said, I believe. This is the Kronig, I believe. Is that right, chat? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
You kept calling it like Croning, and it was like, well, it's not spelled like Croning, but there you go. That was one thing that I kept thinking of. 2
size ones on the mech suit. Yeah, baby. Wow. I just think you need to do Metal Gear Ray. You know, you just need to have one massive size 7 on a massive freaking Ray.
Why bother with a dragonfly? Why not just make the size 7 gun flyable? So you just sit on the size 7 gun and you just...
That's what I'm saying. The ballista for me was such a letdown. I want to see two-legged amphibious kind of monster metal ray gear with huge size 6s, size 8s on top of it, just massive rail guns, just like... That's what I want to see, baby. That would be sick. And then you see like these people in their tonks, you just like... Boop, poof, just crater where their ballista is. You'd be like, that's so old Squadron 42 nonsense. Let's get the modern day Black Ops stealth just sat there, just lingering on the hilltop. Metal Gear, huge gun, rail gun on it, stolen from an Idris rail gun on the back. Sorry, getting carried away here.
So
getting carried
this
away.
This is the same, just different color.
just the back and the color. Yeah, I think maybe it's a slight difference in the styling. Shouldn't
Possibly.
it be Kronig? Yeah, it could be
Kronig.
Konenzag. Should be Konenzag. I like it. I think it's nice, but I definitely think it's interesting they're talking about long range guns. But I was always like, well, don't we have an issue with long range guns to do with bind culling and the visual distance that eventually a ship is out of your visual range? So it's like, well, how is this going to work?
There was something Detox tweeted out the other day when he was flying through the canyon and he was just flying along with his ship and he was doing really good maneuvers. All of a sudden, this rock just loaded in and it was just out of visual range, and then it just popped in and he just smashed straight into it. And it's like, yeah, and if you can't get those sort of straw distances, these long range guns are not going to do much for you. But it was hilarious.
Yeah. I did actually see that, but I didn't realize that. I just thought he just crashed. I didn't realize. I thought it was just Detox being a terrible pilot. I didn't realize that was why.
This is Detox, not us. Now. This is not us. This is Detox. He was flying like a pro. It's just that this rock just appeared.
That's true. That's true.
It's actually a vandal weapon. He didn't realize they make rocks appear, so it looks like accidents.
Don't call my bind. Yeah. So could you imagine? But if they increase the draw range, then that means that isn't that going to have a negative impact on servers and stuff if you're having to increase?
That's why we need
guns?
ICS, CSO, BDS, everything. All them sort of things thrown at it. Yeah.
Okay. Before it'll be in. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it makes total sense. I was chatting with Cool Ass the other day, and he's much more knowledgeable on all the server stuff, and so we had a really good conversation. When I say conversation, he schooled me, which was fine. Absolutely, I have no issues with anyone ever schooling me. So it was good. It was a good understanding because he's a dev, I believe. I don't know what he's a dev for, but he was basically saying, now this is this, man, this is how this works, and this is why this has to be done, and this is why this needs to be in. You hear a lot about it and why, but then you don't necessarily always know exactly. And so he kind of like gave me a bit of a schooling, which was good because I was like, oh, okay, cool, nice. Now I understand more. That's the one thing I'll always say is if you disagree with anything I ever say and you just want to kind of like, I'm always open to learning, and I am genuinely, because I find it fascinating. So feel free, hit me up with messages, correct me, whatever. It's I'm so wrong all the time. It's unreal.
Educate us,
please. Educate us. Don't feel dead live for sure. That's what the comments for on YouTube. If you watch it on YouTube, same thing. If you feel like you want to show us a link to something, or you got anything, we're lovers of all things science fiction and game related and stuff. Just hit us up with whatever you want. It's totally open forum to hit us up, and we'll check it out. We love learning. I love learning anyway. That's one of my favorite things. Learning cool new stuff. So that was the guns, which was really nice.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that was there two more. So there's kind of two more. So one of the things was they didn't show a lot, so we'll just show off what they did show. And that's the Banu Merchantman.
Oh, dude.
So they didn't show a lot of it. If you slow it down and have a little look, in fact, that's 3/4 speed.
It was. I was like, oh, it was so exciting to see just a little bit that I saw, and I was like, ooh, it had this alien.
I still feel like it's a bit dark inside. I'd kind of like it be a lighter, but it definitely had that sort of Farscape feel, at least to me. Is it Moya or something?
Yeah, a bit Moyery. Definitely, yeah. I get. Yeah, actually, now you say that, that feels spot on. That is. It's got a hot ass.
Why not?
Well, they got a hot ass system
actually,
up in there.
Let's just do normal speed and let it loop.
That seems.
That's too jerky.
Why would they have a hot ass?
Well, because it's made for us, isn't it?
Is it the Defender made for us? I thought it was so that the Banu can defend their own freaking spaceship.
Yeah, but I thought it was like converted for us or not, though.
Oh, maybe the ones they sell us are converted for us. Yeah, true. Lore. Yeah, that could be. These ones could be adjusted for humans. That's cool. That's very cool. Oh, the Merchman is going to be a space whale. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm intrigued. I'm fascinated to say. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. Yeah, I know. Like, what is the sound of the Banu, right? What do Banu sound like? I mean, any guesses? I think that they're going to sound like an Arabian knight. They're going to sing the song Arabian Day, and it's going to be like from Aladdin, because they're supposed to be the trade people from kind of like Middle Eastern kind of inspired. So it's all going to smell of kind of different types of salts and smelly stuff that you get from all there. Gold, frankincense,
I'm trying to find. Okay, this is kind of.
And he's going to have Robin Williams as the genie, and you kind of rub a lamp, and he'll appear. Boo!
That's not the picture I clicked. Doesn't show very well. It's a bit small.
Has it got no seat like Nubifier? Yeah, right. It's the standing. It's the standing only. No, you're right. Do you know what? Now you said, as soon as you said Farscape, I was like, dude, you've nailed it. That's exactly what it's like. It's like Moya.
I'm trying to find an internal view, but I mean, even the external view looks very similar.
The pilot that's connected is kind of crab-like, because it has that crab. Remember they talk about the crab?
That shell.
Like everyone talks about like the shell and stuff. So absolutely 100% with you. That is really good reference. Because at the end of the day, science fiction is so, everyone takes bits from places, and it's hard sometimes to be truly fresh. So no, that is, oh man, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can dig up a picture as well.
This is like one picture, I think, from inside Moya, I think.
Moya,
for some reason, I think it's been such a while since Farscape's been on. It's actually hard to find internal pictures of it. But,
such a good. I loved that show. I loved it.
It did have kind of like big pipes running through it, and very organic looking, because it was meant to be like a living ship, basically. So. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's what I thought of when I saw that. I was like, yeah, totally Farscape.
Oh, when you said, the design from the outside is kind of got that vibe as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Even outside, especially when that back view on the Banu, sort of like here. Oh no, that's inside. Sorry, but it's kind of got that shape. Is there an outside shape in this one? I can't remember now. No, I don't think that's just internals, isn't it? But.
That's so good. You're right, though. It's so old now, isn't it? Gosh.
It is.
But it's so good, though.
So yeah, that was our snippet of the Banu. We're supposed to be getting that. Was it 3.7?
Yeah, 3.7. Well, it was meant to be in 3.4, wasn't it? At the beginning of the year, or 3.5, or whatever it was. It's been moved back repeatedly. They obviously want it right, so fair enough. I mean, it's looking from I want to see the outside again. Like, I want to see what they finally decided on the external materials.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, then they'll show us it. It will come, and then it'll be 3.7, and we'll all be super excited. And it looks gorgeous, though. I've got one ready to go. Upgrade. I'm going to lose my cutlass for it, though.
Hopefully worth it.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm going to have to get a cutlass somewhere else. I'm going to have to upgrade something else somewhere to a cutlass.
It's not really a cutlass. It's I don't even know what use this is going to have.
It'd be fun with VTOL. Yeah, I can't wait to have. I can't wait to have landing fights with my co-pilots. No, go left. No, I want a VTOL to the right. What are you talking about? It's to the right now, to the left. Can you imagine this? This is me trying to land.
Or like the left-hand side of the ship. The left-hand side of the ship controls the left part, and the right-hand side controls the right part of the ship.
No. So you'll know who's doing a bad job.
So you, the left pilot gets to go left and down, and the right pilot gets to go right and up.
That is going to be comedy gold. I'm telling you right now, comedy. Cutlasses are dull. Everybody has one. Yeah, but there's a reason why it's dull, because everyone has one. It's a Windlord. It's one of those ships where it's like, it's practical. It does a lot of stuff. The Defender, it won't be as practical. It won't have cargo space. It's a ship. It's a fighting ship. So it's going to be great for traveling long distances and staying as a support vehicle. But it's not necessarily I mean, I'm waiting to see what happens with the Banu, because I may switch my allegiance from the Vandal. Don't hunt me down, Vandal Twitter person, but I may be switching my allegiance so my Vandal ship may become the Banu Defender, and then I'll have a Banu. The BM Merchantman. So I'll have the Merchantman and the Banu Defender. We'll see. I don't know. It sounds like sacrilege to get rid of the glaive, but unless CIG really does do something to dial in the glaive at the moment, it is a pile of shit. There's no question. It is a massive pile of shit as a spaceship. If you have one, it's utterly useless right now in combat. It is so fragile. There's no movement. Its guns have been nerfed. It has no benefits whatsoever to fly a glaive or a scythe. There is, other than on NPCs where they don't really hit you, but if you get attacked by anybody who's a competent, fairly competent pilot, he will kill you. If he's in you could kill me in an Aurora easily with a good, reasonably good setup with the right type of shielding and good. You could easily kill my glaive. It is absolute trash right now. So fix it, please. It's too cool a ship to be so crap right now. You know, you've got to fix that ship. It's too freaking cool. Hopefully with a rework, maybe that's when it will become amazing again. We'll see. It's not been confirmed a rework, by the way, but it seems logical that it would be for Squadron 42, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Moya, dude, perfect. Banu Defender looks good. Looks really good.
I am looking forward to it. It's one of those, because I'm desperate for an alien ship that's going to be usable. The Reliance was one I really liked the look of, and it just flies dreadful. So I'm really hoping this Banu will knock it out of the park, and I can finally settle on something like that instead.
Well, it was the Catherall was not great either, was it? It's got huge. That's the alien.
They're
that's
extremely overpriced as well, though, and they're not.
It's got a weird struts in front of it. Yeah, the Defender is the most of the alien ships right now. What are they? We've got the Nox, garbage. We've got the Catherall. Again, amazing animation, but the struts are terrible. It's pretty weak as a scout ship. It doesn't really do much. It's pretty trashy. It's expensive, but not really. Beautiful design, but not great right now. And then what's the other ones? Nox is great. Yeah, it is great, but when I say it didn't do what I thought it was going to do originally. I've fallen out of love with it, but maybe I'll fall back in love with it with a new flight model. The Reliant get a flight model overhaul with 3.6. I believe it did.
It did, and to me it felt worse. I didn't think it was possible, but to me it felt worse in 3.6 than it's ever felt.
Wow.
It was like. What have you done? I don't know if it's changed with those, if those engines are now moving like they are on the other ships, because they're kind of locked in place. Whereas I don't know if they,
What's the other alien ship that we have? I guess the Banu and then the Glaives. The Glaives, obviously, the Vandals, the kind of the main alien ship. I don't think we've got any Jean yet, other than the Nox. And that's not really a spaceship, that's a land vehicle. The Tavarian, we're going to get the Prowler in soon, because we all have seen bits of the Prowler, so the Prowler's definitely on its way. That's going to be interesting. That's a cool looking ship. And they've got I can't wait to see the Santa Coy. That one going to be cool. If they properly implement the flight mechanics for the Santa Coy and the Catherall as they're supposed to be, in my opinion, with those thrusters and those massive engines, because it ain't moving the way it should be. Clearly, it hasn't been touched properly.
That's kind of what I thought with the Reliant. I felt like because those big main thrusters could twist around, they would act like the VTOL thrusters, but they don't really appear to do that. I haven't done it. I haven't flown it recently, so I don't know. But
that's one of those things. That's one of those questions that I want to talk to when I meet when I see the devs at Citizencon. Hopefully, there'll be a couple there, and I really want to talk to them and ask them and say, "Hey, you got 5 minutes? I just want to talk to you about the thrusters and how they work, and how do you perceive the thrusters working on these ships? Because these ships obviously are supposed to have more maneuvering, but at the moment." They don't. I don't know if you've played it, but they don't have the maneuvering that I should expect.
It's got the alien technology in it. It's like it should be doing it. But...
it is, right? But we'll see.
But so I'm just waiting on an alien ship I can fall in love with, really, at the moment. So I'm hoping the Banu Defender is. It can kind of replace my Buccaneer or something, I just because it's supposed to be a fighter, so I know it might not be the best fighter or something, but if I can get one that's alien, bit of a fighter, kind of replace it, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I would like to see an alien Star Runner. You know what I mean? Like
I would like. Ideally, I would like an alien freelancer style. You know, like I always wanted like the camper van style thing. So yeah, but an alien one, definitely.
Like a mini Banu Merchantman.
Yeah, I think like the Banu Merchantman's too big.
It'd be a Jean because the Banu they've already established that that's their selling thing. So it would be a Jean trade ship or something, or Jean, you know, like cargo hauler. That's what in my head that it would make sense. I would go Jean. That would make a Jean freelancer, and it would be an interesting.
I'd love to see it. I mean, because it would be nice
like
to have an alien alternative, to
really different
to those style of ships. It would be pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
I don't want to see it normal. I saw a picture. I think it was like WTFO a long time ago. He showed off a picture where it was like a vertical square almost, like kind of a weird kind of shape. It was really different. And I was kind of like, ooh, yeah, there's not enough of that in the game. Like, I'd like to see more. We said this before on the show, like more NPC spaceships, which are from other alien races or alien variations and stuff that we can't fly, but they're just in the game in the background. But yeah, like I would love to see a more interesting shape. Everything at the moment still is so heavily like a aeroplane, you know what I mean? It's still very it borders on the logical, you know, like the Borg square in space. It's a square. I was like, ooh, that's cool, that's different.
I don't want to fly a square, especially with these new flight mechanics, but
hey, you never know. All those
you get into atmosphere and it just goes
all over. It'd be like roll a dice, man. You could roll the dice. You'll have a 20 on one side, 1 on the other. Be constantly landing on one. Fail.
Someone starts playing Tetris with them.
Giant dice in space.
Where the Borg respect us. And no, we're just stacking you up next to the cargo crates.
Shape follows function. It does, but the point is that aliens don't, because they have access to technology that we don't know about. That's the whole point. That's what makes things alien, is they're like hover mechanics and shit like that, and they can do weird things that we can't possibly dream. That's the whole point. That's why they're aliens. They have kind of cool, crazy shit, you know. That's kind of like
we want stuff that breaks the laws that everything else is going by. So like when they designed those hover steps and things, that's what we want. Like the what was the pilot thing when he had the ship? Yeah. Anyway, the navigator. That's the one.
Flight of the Navigator. Exactly, dude. Exactly that type of shit. It was so sleek.
Just stuff that breaks laws of physics. Yeah.
Transforming ships, that's where it's at. That's the future for the next wave. Star Citizen 2.0, transforming ships, transforming spaceships.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
I might as well show this last bit off. I mean, I don't think anyone's interested in the 890 jump, but we'll show the tour off anyway.
Oh yeah, does anyone really care about the 890?
Not really. I mean, it's just a big boat that's pretending to be a ship in it, really. I mean, what's special about it?
I will say the first thing is when he was lowering the drug stash to the bottom of the 890. I thought that was fantastic. More of that, please. More of access to more of your shit where you can stack up your drugs or your your counterfeit goods or whatever it is in the game, whatever those good wholesome things that you've bought or sold, whatever cargo, lowering, like that'd be kind of cool. Like you could have like the land vehicles, so they could be his all the different vehicles, toys to play with, and they go down underneath and get locked up, and then opens up and you've got your land, your Origin rover, and kind of a hover bike, Origin hover bike, the X-Force, whatever that was. That's still not in game. Do you know why that's not in game? Because I bet you it falls on its ass all the time. It makes no sense. I expect they didn't get to it because the design is terrible for the way the Gravlev and the mechanics are now with the hover mode. I bet they have to redesign that. I bet you they do. The 600i is shit. This looks better than that. Because it's got 68 rooms.
But what are you gonna,
68 rooms.
What are you going to do with them all? Like, I don't even know 68 people to put to have one person in every room.
No, I don't. I mean, that's literally more people than the server. There are more rooms than people in the server. You can't even get everyone in the server into all the rooms in an 890.
That's it.
Marco Polo games, as I said on my tweet the other day, will be epic.
But this thing's going to be like being on a planet where it's just a load of empty spaces.
It's just about 16. That's exactly. No, Winlord, the 69 room is the special secret room.
It's the secret room you don't know about. It's locked. Yeah.
It's the special.
It's there.
It's the special
it's
quarters.
there.
It's there. Yeah, we'll find it. Don't worry.
Do we know how many toilets are in this thing?
I think they got one somewhere. One at the back. You have to run for miles to get to it. Desperate.
Where's the
right
toilet?
at the bottom of the back.
We didn't think about that when we was designing it. It's literally at the other end of the ship.
I'm desperate. I've eaten a dodgy alien bit of fruit. Run! Just literally a long streak.
And then you
along
get
that
there,
white
and
floor.
then you realise where your crew are, because it's just a one massive long queue from the toilet. Literally, that's where everybody is. It's like, oh, so here you all are.
Everyone, there's 68 rooms worth of staff all lined up outside the toilet, be like, damn it, I knew I should have hired so many women. Oh man.
So I just paused on this scene, which is showing you the hangar bay on the 890 jump. It's very cool, but people are struggling to land with the VTOL mode in. Cool. Like, how many destroyed 890 jumps are we gonna get? Where people trying to land a ship?
Because you're landing on the top. They have made it easier so the platform can rise to the top and then it'll bring you down. So you're not landing. I mean, you can make it harder for yourself if you want to, but in theory, I think the plaid can go to the top so you can land on the top and then it'll bring it down for you. So you're not having to land in the there, you know?
Fun detected and ruined. There you go. They crushed the fun already.
I'm sorry, I crushed it for you. I think that's what. Hey, do you know what CRG though? It could get stuck constantly. The doors be broken. Like the 890 is going to have holes all over the place.
I see the other floor right? Then where your ship's on the landing pad, but the nose overhangs just a tiny bit. So as it goes up, the nose of the ship just catches.
Oh god, I know. It's gonna be crazy, dude. Yeah, there's the nose of the ship. I mean, it looks pretty awesome. Oh, by the way, thank you, Board Gamer. I'm using your video as a reference, so if anyone recognizes the video, it's Board Gamer. Go check him out, boardgamer.co.uk, I think he is, or something like that. He's the #1 YouTuber. You can't miss him. For me, the 890 is so sterile looking, though. It's just, ugh. You know what I mean? It's just. It's literally like watching a rapper's house.
The funny thing is, it's like if you go to
white baby,
like to shops or to someone's house where they've painted everything white, like everything's like the walls are white, and everything just feels like a dentist surgery. And that's kind of how the 600 and the 890 jump feel to me. It's like everything's white except for. I say that just as we go into a room that's like a sauna, but
coloured room.
Other than that one coloured room,
nice. Like the
it's
sauna room.
all white, and it just looks like. You know,
this was loved it. As soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh, that's so good!" I was like, "Brilliant!
Is this
beautiful sauna rooms?"
I mean, I know all the 890 jumps are gonna hate me, owners, but like, are you gonna sit there in the sauna? Is that something you see as gameplay that you want to go and do? Just a little meeting, sit in the sauna.
Depends if it gives you a bonus perk. You know what I mean? I look at it that way. It's like if it gives you like a perk to your character, sweat. Recover, relax you, clean you so you don't stink. You know what I mean? You go to this area to clean because they talked about being hygienic and cleaning and stuff. So
all the important meetings happen in the sauna.
I'm just saying. So they're working currently on the sauna mechanics and the bar mixing mechanics. But can you go back to the grotto though? Because there's controversy in this grotto. Or should I say no longer a grotto. A lot of people kind of losing their shit on Reddit because they got rid of the rock cave effect. They put in like they changed it so you've got the water wall. I'm surprised they didn't put the Origin logo into that. They like to put the Origin logo into everything. Maybe it's on the other side. I'm not sure. The design for I see why people are upset. it lost a bit of character. It's a bit boring now. Do you know what I mean? It's become again a bit sterile, which just goes
like the rest
in
of the ship.
keeping like the rest of the ship. I think if I had my version of the 890, I think it would probably be like Harrods in London. You know, this feels a bit more like Selfridges, kind of like designed. It's kind of very bit more modern. I mean, more actually not even Selfridges. This is Apple. This is the best way. This is an Apple.
Yeah, this
store.
is more like an
The
Apple
890 's
store.
Apple.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Whereas like the grotto was like a Harrods, you know, it's kind of a bit smaller and everything's kind of crazy and it got weird statues and all sorts of just, you know, if you've ever been to Harrods, you'll know what I'm talking about. I definitely would like more of a Selfridges. I'm more of a Selfridge guy. I like a little bit of the old meets the new, you know, like I love, like we talked about this before, like the Raven Hotel from Altered Carbon. The bar for me and my 890 has to be like that, you know. I'd like that. That's more my kind of Art Deco style. So
Steampunk.
I would love to be able to customize. Yeah, steampunk, Art Deco, but kind of with futuristic kind of cyberpunky kind of vibes thrown in with it. You know, a bit of a blend. That's kind of my thing. I'd love to. I don't want to have a white 890. I want to have a black 890 or a stealth version or a grey. Like, you know, I don't want to have a white one. And I'd want to be able to do, you know, a lot more.
Can we have a steampunk 890 jump? Then I'd be more interested.
Yeah, you'd be more interested in that. Yeah, for sure. Maybe I like steampunk, but I wouldn't go all the way. Like I said, I like more my cybery punky, that kind of Raven. You know, that like the artwork that we spoke about earlier. Get Jay Lee on the case. I'll ask him, can you design me an 890 jump, please, like the clothing? So yeah, maybe we'll get to change some of these assets out. That's all I can think. Maybe we'll get to change some of these things.
I don't think we will. I think it's like
maybe
this is the design of this ship, and it fits this design. Therefore, that's why they've gone with it.
Yeah. That's the sad part. That I know you're right. You know what I mean? Like I know you're right, and it's kind
Like
of
you said, it feels like it's like the Apple Store all of a sudden put in a garden in the corner of their thing. You know.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, again, it all fits together. It all looks like it's all got the same design language and stuff, and it's going to be an absolute maze. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I am going to be so lost.
I mean, literally, your whole server needs to go on it, and you'd probably still not see anybody.
Yeah. Could you imagine, like when this is in game, server meshing is so important. We have to it's so important to be able to open up the servers now to bigger server player counts, because these ships are just pointless right now.
And what about the bar? I mean, are you allowed to put your drinks on tab? Everybody that visits your ship will have the drink on tab.
Well, how much do you think it's going to cost? So we were talking about this on Dark Law, was chatting about this, and we were saying like I made him laugh because I said to him, what I'm going to do with my 890 jump, I don't have one, but if I'm going to steal someone's, is I'm going to make sure I do that one mission that involves one box with my 890, and so I'm just going to cruise in on with it and just take my one single box for the mission and put it in the enormous hangar in the back of it.
All the cargo bag,
like, take off.
Like, imagine the big hangar doors like opening up, and you just go, okay. And the door.
There's my one. Just drop it down in the middle. Everything closes around it, and then I'll get into my bar, have a drink, and then take off. And then by the end of the mission, I'll add up how much it cost to fuel run that mission, and how much it was to keep the ship going, and the bar tab, and everything else, and then how much I made from the box that I did on the delivery mission, to see if it was worth it.
I can tell you now, no.
No, I know. I made 1K, one alpha, 1,000 AUEC, and it cost me like 200,000 just in fuel and tax alone, just to get the ship out and to take it there. Like, that's the thing, is we don't know a lot about how, because with fuel and stuff, we don't know. I mean, how much currently it's pretty cheap to fill up a spaceship with fuel. Most ships blow up before you even have to, and now that's the thing, is you just reclaim them. But I expect the 890 is going to have a big old claim time. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm expecting that to have what's the reclaimer's current time? Anyone got one? I don't have one. What's the current claim time on it? Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know. So what would you guys
This is going to be like days.
What would you think would be a sensible time? Yeah, but it's only alpha, so you want people testing the ships.
Alpha, I don't know about alpha, but I think eventually it'd be like days.
Yeah,
37 minutes for a Caterpillar.
this is always my argument for, like, we talk about quantum travel times, is to do with if they can bring the time shortened for claiming ships. I don't see why they can't bring down the time for quantum jumps. That's what I mean. Double standards, in my opinion. Because if they're saying, oh, these aren't going to be the final times and the claims of the ships are going to be, days, I'm like, well, what's the difference between that and quantum time jump then? If you're willing to do it there, why can't you do it the other way?
Still missing Crocs. Still missing the Crocs.
Still missing. No, gold.
I'm going to have word with Jay Lee.
Look at those flip-flops.
Everybody in chat, we need to send a message to Jay Lee and tell him we need Crocs.
Ooh.
You can't make all this shit and not, like, make Crocs.
So this is where the chef will be. So we've clearly established the chef's clothing. So we'll have the
just
chef
a room of the artwork, isn't it?
There's all the bits and bobs that are going to go into the 890. Oh, the artwork was cool. I really liked the artwork. I actually was like, ooh, I wonder if we'll get some of that for our wall. We can print it out. I was like,
it's like a wedge of cheese. That's what the 890 jump looks like. A flying brie.
Yeah. It's nice.
Just put it in a sandwich. Nice. It's even got the white exterior like a good brie as well.
Like a good cheese.
Like a good brie.
Well,
good Somerset brie.
I don't own an 890. I'm going to look forward to stealing and being on board other people's 890s. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see. I'm saying I'm excited. I'm fascinated to see when that is implemented, what effect that has on the game if they haven't optimized the servers yet, and how much it breaks them. It could cripple them. You know what I mean? Could you imagine? It could absolutely cripple the servers. We could be down to horrific frames.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to steal one because it'll take me a day just to get to the cockpit. it's like it's around here somewhere.
Oh God, could you imagine? I'm just waiting. I am the ship that big with 68 rooms. And if you think about the ships that we have now and the bugs that we have now on the ships that we have in the game now, in terms of, falling through holes, elevators that don't work, all things that kill you, broken legs on stairs. Like, this is just like a walking disaster zone. Do you know what I mean? It is literally, you're gonna have to people are gonna have to build maps.
Stuff.
Oh, there's gonna be a map guide how to walk around an 890 without dying. Do you know what I mean? I can imagine that's what's gonna be like, okay, you're on this room, take a left, but you got to stick to the left wall, because if you go on the right wall, you're gonna clip through and fall through into the room below, which will then kill you. You can't go on the bed because it will kill you. If you go in the sauna room, it will kill you. If you go behind the bar or sit on the seat, you won't get up from the seat. It'll kill you. You go in the swimming pool, you won't be able to get out, you'll die. If you go, if you stand next to the elevators or whatever and fall down into the cargo hold, you won't be able to get back up because there's no button to bring the cargo up, so you'll die, you'll be dead, it'll kill you. I'm just saying, like, it will be the 890, owning an 890 is going to be a challenge. Just at least they include a ladder where all the elevators are broken. Yeah, true.
You could just imagine storming it though with your little hit squad to go and take it over and rob it, and you'd be like 10 minutes in there running around, all of a sudden you'd be like, you'd be having to look at the staff and go, excuse me, could you just show me the way to the cockpit?
No, even better. They won't make it to the cockpit. You'll be watching them dying trying to get to the cockpit. You'll be sat there with your camera going, yep, they came in with 20. 5 have died on the elevator. 4 have died on the way through the grotto. We're down to 10. They've got to make it past 3 rooms, and they won't make it through those rooms because there's no way through. So that's definitely those bars bumped off. By the time they get to there, you'll be like, right, okay, I can deal with the one guy left.
You rock up with one guy and he goes, right, lads,
oh, no.
What?
Oh.
Hello.
Whoops.
We're here to take your ship.
I can't wait.
You and News Army.
Guys. Again, I don't know if anyone's actually mentioned that. Everyone's talks about, like, oh, the 8.9. I'm like, you do realize it's got to be a death trap for most players. It's going to be a death trap. Oh man, thanks. Just put my wife's snorting with laughter. I know
that'll kill you.
It's great. It's great. I'm excited for it. I think the game it's another step on the road to getting us that much closer to that place that we're all excited for with the dream big ships and stuff in game, and what the level of different type of gameplay is going to bring. Griefing could be a thing with this ship being so powerful. It could be the opposite. The ship could grief you hard.
I get that. I'm being funny, but I get that in an Aurora. Like, how am I going to survive in a ship that big when my Aurora kills me for just opening the door?
Yeah. I mean, like, who's going to... Can the 890 land, right? So if it can land, can it take off? Like, what's the landing an 890 going to feel like?
Could land, just can't take off again. You just see all these people landing 890s and it's like, oh, shit, we're stuck here now.
Like how many, is the 890 going to be a bit like in Time Cop? The laws of time is you can't embody the same area and space. If two 890s get too close and touch tips, does the entire server die?
Not the tips.
It's all that kind of yeah, exactly. Like 3, 4, what's the server capability? Going to be like, because
when it first comes in and they give it to all the Evo cards, there's going to be 50 890 jumps.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So again, I'm excited for it. I'm hoping it will come in. I thoroughly, between you guys, I don't expect it to be in the patch. I think it could even skip the 3.7 and going to go to 3.8. Just being a bit not negative.
I think it'll be. They've determined to get it out in this patch, but I think it'll get in 3.7 at the least.
Okay, so you think 3.7? I think. I don't know, man. I just think I don't know. I just think if it comes in and there's serious problems with it, and I foresee some serious problems with it.
Yeah, but that's different. It could come in and go away again if it really kills it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But what I mean is, when I say it comes in, I mean it'll come into either Cardi potentially. You guys might play, and it'll crash out hard, and then it'll go away again for a bit, and then maybe it'll try again, and then, that's that. I don't know.
Possible, yeah. They might just put it in and show everybody how buggy it is, just so they will go, take it out, remove it.
Take it out now, no. They'll be like, there's no time for lubricant. There's always time for lubricant.
Why did you put it in? Why? We told you not to.
Oh, God. Yeah, no. Just I'm sorry. This 890 is going to be it'll either be smooth sailing. It'll be
never going to be smooth sailing. There's no way on this earth it's going to be smooth sailing. Never.
It's going to be so much fun. Desmarius, I love that movie.
Okay, so oh yeah.
No amount of a cookie is going to work. You are so beautiful to me. Step away, I'm going to kill this one myself. Sorry, I love that movie as well. It's one of those little gems.
I don't know what it is about that movie, but it was just perfect. It was just perfect.
It's so funny. So funny. Dan Aykroyd, genius.
So while we reminisce about that film, I think we... So we're going to go for this, like a couple of questions, and then we'll end it for the night. I think,
and then we'll end it. I've got some other stuff we'll talk about another week, because I think we don't want to burn it. We've got some nice little bits. We've got another couple of things we'll talk about next week as well. So we'll keep those. Save some stuff for another week. We can talk about it.
Okay, so the first question is from Windlord. In fact, they're all from Windlord, so that makes it a bit easier.
Yay, Windlord. Thank you for the questions.
Go, Windlord. The first one is... Do you prefer the cyborg Gerard chef from RTV or the latest sterile chef concept art? And why are you wrong if you choose number 2?
Right. So the first one is this. Do we have a reference? Has anyone got a reference for the cyborg for the other one? Is it on the link? I'm curious. The cyborg. Yeah, what the fuck? I know, that's what I'm curious about as well, Langdon. It might be like a long time ago, and
No, it was really cool. Jay Lee did it. It was awesome. Here you go. I found it. I definitely prefer the Jared one.
You got a link in there?
2 seconds.
Sorry.
Right, if I can get the bloody picture to open.
That's all right.
To answer your question,
Ain't no
Banner
questions.
Wolf, we do the podcast every Monday. I don't know if there's probably a more finished picture than this one, but this will do for now.
We do the podcast every Monday. We have some other things which we're trying to get out going. Oh yeah, the disco chef. Yeah, with the
We had
robotic
like
arm and
yeah.
Okay, way better. But
I reckon they'll end this.
harder.
I really reckon this will end up being a character in the game. Like the other one is more of a stereotypical NPC.
Yeah.
I think this is an awesome character. This would make us such an interesting actual character in the game, and I reckon that's what we'll end up seeing.
Do you know who this reminds me of? It reminds me of from Treasure Planet. The guy in Treasure Planet, the cyborg in Treasure Planet who has the cyborgic hand, and he's the chef. He has the thing, and he cuts up the food and stuff. He's got the cyborgic leg. It feels like that to me. Now that I remember, I think I probably said that at the time when I first saw this as well, and it still does now. It's cool though. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I mean that'd be my bet. I
prefer this one.
Knowing Lando, he would love to have a character in game that was based around him.
Who wouldn't?
Come on.
Honest,
Yeah, that's true. Who wouldn't? Yeah, I mean,
they've already got one based around me. Salt.
Yeah,
Planet Salt.
they've got madnesses.
Some big bag of salt somewhere on some desk. Oh dear Lord. Oh my God. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. That's the thing of nightmares. Take it away. That's worse than playing Subnautica Sub-Zero. I'm so terrified of that.
I'm glad I've lost all my one and I'm the one that's in control. So the next question is, which surprise game mechanic would you flip out if they had it ready for Citizencon?
Which surprise mechanic would I flip out?
As in, like, would you go mad for if they
go crazy for
show
it
off? Yeah,
game mechanic for me.
Just flip it out.
that might get me never allowed to return to Citizencon.
Is that surprise
Flip
mechanics? That's what. Maybe he's just on about loot boxes.
I came wearing this jacket for a reason. I think for me, the one I really want to get in because I have the ship is salvage. Is breaking things down. If they show us salvage and then you can start breaking down ships, it would be great. I mean, I think the latest patch. I was watching HC Vertigo the other day and he was flying around. And congratulations, by the way, HC. HC's been on the show a long time. He was a big part of the Asylum when we first started out over a year ago. So big congrats to him. He's managed to open up his partnership application for the first time. Super proud of him. Keep going. I can't wait for you to get that officially, that partner. Yeah. So good job for you.
We're all rooting for you,
big shout out. Yeah. Rooting for you, buddy. Really, really, really rooting for you. I lost my train of thought there. What was I saying? Salvage. Yeah, so when they showed us like the technology for breaking things down, I have the Vulture ready to go. So for me, if they show that game mechanic, I will. And they go, and it's coming in 3, whatever. And it looks really, really good, and it looks like it's finished. Oh, yeah, because when HC was playing, that was it. When HC was playing, there's lots of dead ships flying around, and they're supposed to despawn, but they weren't. I was like, cool, because if the Vulture was there, then you could despawn them for them.
Start eating them up, yeah.
And then we know the Reclaimer, in theory, they might get the Reclaimer's animations working eventually. I went on record ages ago saying that the Vulture's salvage mechanics would be in before the Reclaimers, and I still stand by that.
Yeah, I think so. Drone stuff is a lot easier. Probably. Well, as in like more basic, because they're just going to have this thing fly out. Because they said it's going to be automated, didn't they? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, they said it's automated, but then the Vulture's got like the front piece kind of got the... I don't know. We'll see. Well, so I'm saying, yes, what he's asking, would I flip out? Yes, that would flip me out as next to weather mechanics. Great weather mechanics, and then who knows what else? They always like to surprise us. Citizencon is such an exciting thing. Like, I'm so looking forward to hopefully being there. I mean, I'm going to try everything with my powers. I bought a ticket. I'm going to try and make sure my flight so I can get back for it. I mean, it's perfectly possible I may end up being super disappointed and not being able to make it, but I'm going to try my utmost to get a flight out from the end of my conference to come straight to Manchester from Asia to do the conference. So I'm hoping, so hoping. It could go all wrong, but hopefully. Otherwise, if not, I'll just be watching it like the rest of you guys. Super excited.
And the final question is mech suits to show for Citizencon. They're not mech suits.
Mech suits, Titan suits, the Titan suit. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to see it.
It'd be nice to see it, but I don't think we will.
I don't know. It depends if it's in Squadron 42. I think if it's in Squadron 42, then we may see it. If it's not in Squadron 42, then I don't think we'll see it. Because everything now, I think asset-wise, is being built predominantly for Squadron 42. The Ballista is a shining example. That vehicle came out of nowhere, and it's got Squadron 42 all over it. So I expect to see more Squadron 42-ish type of things. So if I wanted the spoilers, maybe I could go in to read the lore and figure out what's coming out or what's in the chapters. But then the problem with that is, if I do that, then I'm ruining it for myself. So I like the surprise like the rest of us, So we'll see. But yes, it would be cool. It would be very cool to see Titan suits. I'd love to see, or the artwork again, to see what the final artwork that they're planning on. That would be nice. And alien stuff, as much alien stuff as possible, please. Oh yeah,
that's what I want. That's what I would really want for Citizencon. Let's just see more alien shit, more of it.
More aliens, actual aliens. And see them in the the actual Banu. I want to see not just a drawing. I'd like to see them fully rendered, and I'd love to see more of the Vandal and the Banu, the Jean as well. I want to see more of the turtle dudes. I want to see them. I want to see the end game, the physical.
They need to at some point make a final decision for an actual fully rendered character. That's what we need to see, I think.
Yeah, like it will be. I mean, I know people talk about the chapter 1 is predominantly going to be humans versus humans with a little bit of Vandal-y sprinkled in there.
You're talking about the Banu and that being in more the PU anyway, so the Star Citizen element. So
it would just be so. It wouldn't it be great if you could see Port Olisar and you see, rather than always seeing the UEU, you suddenly see you see alien ships starting to appear. Banu. And then the comms open up, and you hear, like
it's
the
like when you see No Man's
different.
Sky now, when what they're adding with the whole new aliens being among the planet and landing down and stuff. Yeah, you start seeing some of that. It's going to be cool.
We will do a No Man's Sky special, guys, on the after hours coming up for sure, because we need to have a big discussion about No Man's Sky, about the other games out there. We're going to do a nice, maybe next week. We'll see where it goes. We'll do an after hours big section where we're going to talk about the games out there, all the different types of games, because I think we need to have this conversation. We have to have this debate, this chat about, what's good, what's bad, why are they good, what's wrong with, why is CRG taking so long? How can a studio with 6 people, 30 people make so much difference? All that stuff. We need to have a good conversation, and I need to get some knowledge. I'm going to chat to some people who are developers.
Dual Universe. I need to look at Dual Universe again, but yeah.
Yeah, Dual Universe.
There's plenty of stuff, and if people want us to look at stuff and talk about stuff, then definitely feel free to recommend stuff, jump in our Discords, and tell us stuff that you'd be interested in us covering and looking into as well, because we're happy to. If we've got it, we'll do that.
Same if you're on YouTube, and exactly the same on YouTube. If you listen on YouTube and whatever, if you want to see us play a game or you got any recommendations, I'm already taught. I played Subnautica the other day. I'm a bit of a chicken sometimes when it comes to certain games. I'm playing Subnautica. I was clinging to the wall the other day. I couldn't even go down into the deep. Scared. I had to have the sound off. Scared, and I was thinking we should do Alien Isolation, because I hear it's really scary, and we could do like a live show, Madness Plays Aliens, Alien Isolation for the first time or whatever, scary games or whatever. We've got the channel now. This is what this channel is all about. This channel is all about us trying things, having some fun, games, podcast, all this stuff. So we're just setting it up. We are still experiencing technical problems with certain things, but once it's there, we're going to open it up. We're probably going to open up the Discord channel as well at some point.
Yep.
Once we get it sorted, we'll open up the Discord as well, so people will be able to come in, join us in the Discord, and potentially play or chat and do some other things. So it's going to be really interesting as we progress going over the next couple of months. But we just got to get over a few little technical hurdles at the moment for the stream. But once we've done that,
we're trying to.
Be like Star Citizen, server meshing.
That's it. So we need server meshing. Yeah, we need decent servers, full stuff that work.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
yeah,
we're gonna end it here. Thank you so much, as always. As we said at the beginning, that we apologise that our shows have been a little bit sporadic, especially recently, because we've done like a whole year where we've barely missed any, and we don't like missing them, and it's been a combination with tech difficulties and also just Star Citizen. It always happens towards the Citizencon as well, that the data and information that they come out with is very lacking. Especially with new information, and so we just want to do a show that you're going to enjoy rather than just keep rehashing stuff. So we do apologize. But we really appreciate you guys sticking with us and showing us the support. So you're all fantastic. So thanks for that, guys. And if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know what I was going to say then, but follow, subscribe, like, comment below, let us know anything else. I might leave the question form open, so if people want to ask questions during the week, we've got like a list of questions that can be built up for the next time we start, and we can answer those as well. So if you've got questions and you still want to do it, I think the bot should be active constantly, so even if you come in the Twitch channel and do ! Question mark, you should be able to get the form, fill it in, and we'll definitely... take it up
questions,
next time.
Topics of conversation, all that stuff. It's all good. It doesn't have to be always just directly a question. If you just want to if you think there's something you want us to talk about, or if there's some sort of thing we've missed, hit us up with a comment and we'll check it out and see if it's good. You never know. You never know where it can lead. Yep. You never know.
Okay, guys. Thank you. So if you don't see us streaming during the week on our own channels or on this channel, we'll see you again next Monday, same time.
Yeah.
Take care and goodbye.